Good morning and welcome to the Mike Graham Show. As you can see, you don't know it's the Mike Graham Show because the sign that says it's the Mike Graham Show has been taken away and disappeared. We'll get it back though. We're getting it fixed. That's the thing. Pooch has sent it away to the sign fixers. What you can see behind me, of course, are the two clocks. One which tells you the time in London, and the other one which tells you the time in international scenarios. And so we will be telling you what's coming up over the course of the next 2.5 hours. Kelvin MacKenzie is going to be here. He's got lots and lots of things to say. We've got loads of stories from the front pages, mostly about Keir Starmer still being completely and utterly useless. We've also got Lee Nalallingham back. He's the man who calls himself just an ordinary dad, a guy, there you go, Lee, very good morning to you.
Morning.
An ordinary dad, but a man that does some very important work asking questions that journalists no longer ask. And we were just talking about it actually a minute ago, where he puts in FOI requests, freedom of information requests to councils in London and up and down the country, asking them what they're actually doing with our money, which is an incredibly valuable thing to do. We'll come back to that in a second. We've got loads of announcements for you as well. Philip Kiszely's coming up. We've got Ralph Schoellhammer. Also, because it's Friday, we're going to do Plonk of the Week actually in the show. So around about 9 o'clock, we're all going to get the bubbly out. And we're going to... I've just noticed, by the way, that my secondary phone was not charged overnight, and it looks as though it's about to run out of charge. So I might have to ask you for a charging cable. It's an iPhone 15, I think. So it's one of the big ones. In fact, so the one that works for the iPad, it'll work on that. So I could do that if you don't mind. But meanwhile, lots and lots of headlines. Oh, thanks, man. There you go. Pooch. Do you know I had this dream about you last night?
Did you? Nice.
Yeah. It wasn't one of those dreams.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
But I had this idea, right? Because we're doing this live show, which is happening on May the 6th at Shepherd's Empire. It's Mike Graham and Friends. We sold a load more tickets, by the way. Have you heard?
Yeah, I saw it. Brilliant.
We've sold like a bunch more tickets since we announced that we're doing it, which is great. And I had this idea that, it says, do you trust this computer? No, it belongs to Pooch. Of course I don't trust it. I thought at some point or other during the show at Shepherd's Bush, should we not introduce Charlotte, who's going to be there, and bring her onto the stage, and there'll be a huge, cheer for her, right, and all the good work that she does. She's here this morning as well, by the way. And then we go and you need to see Pooch. And we introduce Pooch, and he comes on the stage, and maybe with a bag on his head, or not. I don't know. I don't know how we do it, but we need to talk about that because I think we need to, reveal ourselves to the people. Anyway, listen. Here's a bunch of the headlines that we've got so far this morning. Let's see, what can we find? We've got a International Women's Day coming up on Sunday, right? And I was listening, and I don't wish to be in any way unkind to women because I love women, and I don't want any women who are listening to be put off by this. But I was listening to Times Radio on the way in, and they were being very, what can only be described as kind of, mealy-mouthed about, why is it? Well, there's not so many women, piloting planes, right? And all I could think of in my head was, can you imagine a woman in a plane, in a cockpit, trying to sort of manoeuvre the plane around the airport and just backing into things? Because I know that I'm going to be accused of being some old misogynist and a dinosaur.
I can see the comments now.
But, listen, I've been married. I've had women friends who are just not very good at parking. And I'm not sure I want them driving planes, So we've got a quiz which says, this is the poll today. Who would you rather was piloting your plane if you were getting a flight today, wherever it's going? A woman, a man, a trans person, or Stevie Wonder, right? And do you know who's winning at the moment? It's Stevie Wonder. People are going, I'd rather actually have Stevie Wonder than a woman.
Oh, no, it's changed now.
Oh, has it changed?
A man.
Oh, God, it's gone to a man. Crikey. Blimey. 71%. That's extraordinary. In terms of headlines, we've got lots of different headlines that I'm going to bring you in a second. Let's have a look here. What can we do? Trump wants to choose Iran's next leader, which is, fair enough. Starmer wants the US to negotiate with Iran. Starmer, what a complete and utter numpty. Starmer's desperate and deluded, according to Daily Mail, page 1. Panic in Dubai, says the I newspaper. I've been talking to people in Dubai. There's no panic in Dubai. Nobody is panicking in Dubai. I don't know why this kind of narrative is being sold by people about Dubai. I don't know if you, Neil, know anybody who lives in Dubai,
I
but
know
all the
several
people
people.
I'm speaking to are saying, listen, we're not going anywhere. We still think Dubai's safer than London. We're going to sit it out. It's not a problem.
I had a mate literally move there the day it happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and his response was, it's still safer than London.
Yeah. And they don't, and you know, they're happy to go there. They're happy to start their businesses or to run their businesses. They're happy to put their kids in school there. You know, there's no issue with what would appear to be a kind of media campaign in Britain to say, oh, everybody's terrified. They're not.
The only thing I can think of is they're trying to stop people from moving there because there's so many leaving the country.
Yeah.
They want to keep the tax money, bring it back.
Maybe. What you think that sort of, maybe the government's kind of pulling the strings of the Independent or something like that. The other story that was, of course, going around yesterday, Labour MP quits over husband's links to China. That's in the Telegraph. You know, who would have thought that Labour MPs have got, you know, other halves, spouses, and there's 3 of them who have got some kind of weird connection to China. Obviously, it's a sort of an ongoing case. We can't comment on it too much. However, it does seem a little bit strange, doesn't it?
It's a bit strange, and they do have links to China. I think Labour has a China problem. I live in Tower
They
Hamlets.
do.
We've got the embassy
Well,
as well.
This, funnily enough, this week, under the cover of sort of darkness, they gave the go-ahead for it to happen. So the final sort of tick was given this week by the Labour government for the Chinese to open to start building the embassy.
And what I find really weird about that story is, okay, yes, there's a criminal investigation. Leave that alone. Did you see the press release she did when she relinquished the whip now?
Yes.
Anyone can appreciate your husband's just been arrested for espionage.
Yeah.
You've got kids.
Yeah.
You want to step back and deal with that, and there's an investigation. Everyone will completely understand. But it's just so fake. This is the problem with the Labour government. It was a press statement basically saying, well, I need to step back because I wouldn't dare want to interfere with all of the fantastic work the government's doing.
This is led from the top because Starmer does the same thing.
Yeah.
And he hides behind what is effectively a non-existent law to say, oh, well, because there's an investigation going on, we can't comment. Well, you can actually, right? I've been doing this journalism lark for a long time, and I know that a case is active largely once somebody's been charged.
Yep.
They are not in any way, shape or form impossible to talk about before they're charged. You know, if you're arrested, there is a case, there is a number, there is an ongoing process. But you are not going to be in contempt of court before somebody is actually charged. And you're somebody who deals in sort of, you know, detail and facts and, you know, freedom of information inquiries into what, you know, governments, local governments in particular, are actually spending money on. And you know as well as I do that there are procedures, there are rules, there are kind of, you know, frameworks within which we all work. And Starmer has become an expert in hiding behind it all and going, oh, well, we can't talk about that because there's a, you know, ongoing case. Absolute cobblers.
Absolutely.
You know. Anyway, listen, so let's talk about what's on the front page of the Daily Mail. It says, desperate and deluded, we can't put a warship to sea. Trump's frozen him out. Our nation is a laughingstock, with the Prime Minister insists he is in control. Shall we play a couple of clips, guys? Because it feels to me like that's what we should be doing at this moment in time. How about John Healey, first of all, who turns out to be somebody that we thought was actually quite sensible, who is now just as much of a numpty as everybody else in the Labour government. This is John Healey, the Secretary of State for Defence, talking about HMS Dragon and why it's going to take 2 weeks for it to get to Cyprus.
Just to be clear, you had the option of deploying HMS Dragon for many weeks, and it was your decision when to deploy it or not, as it were.
So the decisions we've taken are part of the coordinated defence we do with other allies. We have other destroyers in this region. We have, alongside Cyprus, we've got the US destroyers that provide much of the same protection that our air defence destroyer will provide when we bring that into the region as well.
That begs the question, why send it? If there's already the capability in the region, why send it?
Because we're now in a position to judge better the nature of the Iranian response to the strikes. We can see they're increasingly indiscriminate, they're rising, they're widespread, they're uncontrolled.
Did that come as a surprise to you? The Iranians always threaten that. So does it come as a surprise to you that the Iranians hit targets across the region?
What is significant about this Iranian response is it's different to last year. Last year it was proportionate, it was targeted only at military installations. This year in the first 24 hours we saw them strike 10 different countries.
Sure, but the Americans weren't
Hotels.
involved last year from the outset. The Americans only came in at the very end. The Americans this time have led the way with the Israelis. It was clear. The Iranians always said that they would do it widespread. They would target US military assets around the region and anybody else. So did it come as a surprise to you that Akrotiri was targeted?
So weeks before the conflict started, I'd moved extra jets, air defense systems, radars, drone teams into Cyprus. That was part of defending our British people here.
But none of them can defend against ballistic missiles.
And defending the island. We always will defend, we will fight in coordination with allies. And we had US destroyers also in the area. So,
But they can't defend against ballistic missiles. The Type 45 destroyer can, and it's not here yet. You know, the French have got a frigate here, I think, as of last night.
Sure.
I mean, I know they're closer, but they got it to sea immediately.
I mean, you watch this guy, right, with increasing incredulity, because he can't answer a question. I mean, he was out on the rounds on Sunday, wasn't he? And people were saying to him, you know, are we in agreement with the Americans that it was a good idea to strike Iran? We were not involved in that. Yeah, but never mind that. Do you think we were right to do it? Or was America right to do it, or was America wrong to do it? He couldn't say.
He couldn't say. He didn't have his script.
He's now standing in the Cyprus air base, which is British, which has been under attack from Iran, and he still can't say whether or not he thinks we should attack Iran. And also, apparently, hilariously, he got there, and within about 5 minutes of him arriving, there was an alert, and they all had to run into a bunker, right? And, I don't know whether it's just me, but he reminds me of Dobby, from the Harry Potter film.
I love that, yes, I can see that.
He's got the ears, he's got the bald head. And this from Dan Hodges, who put this out yesterday. How is it conceivable the government wasn't aware there was a requirement for the Royal Navy to have an effective system for tackling Iranian drones until 48 hours ago? Because basically they've said that they're now going to commission a whole bunch of anti-drone kind of hardware, which they can assist with giving to the airbase in Cyprus to protect them. And they've never thought of it until now.
Never thought about it until now.
How is that possible?
And what really got me looking at that clip was, we didn't expect such a response.
Yeah.
How can you not expect that a regime that literally murders its own people, sponsors terror across the region, has tried to blow us up, I think, about 20 times?
Yeah. And has also a honeycombed kind of, terrorist network all over Western Europe.
All over it.
From Paris to Belgium to Brussels to London to Manchester to Bristol. We know that there are, at any given time, something like 50,000 people operating in Britain, many of them funded by Iran, trying to do us harm.
Yep.
How are we not prepared for that?
Oh, because they live in a nice, cosy world where everyone just sits there and has a cup of tea and says, "Oh, please don't do that." Oh, okay, sorry. They've never been confronted with actual bad people who do bad things.
Absolutely right. Couple of messages to bring you. We've got a couple of super chats, of course. Did I see a message there about somebody complaining about the sign? Why does the sign say Graham the Mike Show?
It doesn't.
What's wrong with you? It's the Mike Graham Show. I tell you, the reason we've got the new sort of sign in front of me is that because we've had to take the old sign down because Pooch has had to send it back to the manufacturers because for some reason it doesn't illuminate anymore. And as much as I quite liked it not illuminated, he overruled me, as he always does, and said, look, I've got to send it back to them. They've got to fix it. So I've got no say in the matter. And we've now got the new sign, which was sent in to us by somebody who printed it on a 3D printer. And it says The Mike Graham Show. I don't know what you're talking about. I can see it. The Mike Graham Show.
I can see it too.
Can you see it?
I can see it. The Mike Graham Show. It's Tuesday.
I don't understand why anybody's complaining. Unless you're some kind of dyslexic. You can't, you can't see it, read it in the right order. I don't know. A couple of other stories to talk about, Neil. One, on the front page of The Sun, is all about Ian Huntley, the most ghastly, horrible individual, double murderer. He's in prison for the rest of his life because of his horrible act of killing two 10-year-old girls some years ago. He's been beaten up quite badly. They're saying now that he's been blinded by the attack that he suffered a couple of weeks ago, which I don't think anybody's going to be too bothered about, to be honest. But Soham double murderer Ian Huntley was blinded by his jail beating and is highly unlikely to survive, it says.
Highly unlikely to survive. Well, they got him bad. It's one of those things where, look, I go to church, I'm a Christian, I wouldn't like to wish ill upon anyone, but are you surprised?
I mean,
horrific
there's
crime.
a thing
I
called
remember that
karma.
crime.
Do you believe, as a Christian, do you believe in karma? Do you believe in sort of, divine intervention? Do you think that this has happened for a reason?
Well, what's the saying? Do unto others, eye for an eye, all of that.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes there is a need for biblical justice.
Yes.
You could argue. It's one of those where, again, I wouldn't necessarily wish harm on anyone, but you can completely understand why
When the
someone did
story
that.
broke, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, I think almost everybody said, well, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. If, in fact, it turns out that he doesn't survive, I don't think anyone's going to shed any tears. A bit like when the Ayatollah was knocked off by the Americans.
No, exactly that.
Most sensible people went, fine.
Yeah.
Have you seen, by the way, in your travels, because of parts of London that you live in, people actually mourning the loss of the Ayatollah? Because there's been quite a bit of controversy about a lot of mosques around the country where they've said we're going to have commemorations in memory of this great man. And people are going, he's a bit of a nasty, not great man, killer, person who preyed on his own population.
Preyed on his own population, murdered, was it 30,000 of them at last estimate?
At least,
hangs homosexuals from cranes.
Yeah.
Why would you mourn someone like that? Haven't seen it, though, locally in East London. I thought I might. We've obviously I've seen this stuff on social media.
Yeah.
I'm sure, look, I'm sure there's someone somewhere.
Has decided to have some kind of, commemoration ceremony in Trafalgar Square, with the Ayatollah's face up on a big screen, He was a great man.
Well, hopefully he's dealing with all of the rape instead.
Interesting you say that. Yeah, but tell us that, because one of the things that Lee does is he compiles figures, having accessed information because of his ability to get freedom of information out of local councils. You put out a tweet this week about the number of rapes that have taken place.
777 rapes just in January.
Yeah.
So in 31 days,
Wow.
777. Unfortunately, my neck of the woods, Tower Hamlets, leading the way with 43, I think it was.
43 like a day?
No, just total in the 31 days.
Yeah.
51 rape every 57 minutes, I think the statistics said.
Yeah.
And you've got to remember, only 1 in 6 actually get reported. So the reality is we probably had 4,000 to 5,000.
Yeah.
In 31
and they
days.
collect this data, but they don't really publish it, do they? You've had to go and find it.
It's very much hidden on kind of the websites and so on. But I get the data once a month.
Surely I must be mistaken, because in my mind I'm thinking Sadiq Khan was out there on the sort of publicity trail just about 2 weeks ago, telling us all how
London
crime was down in London.
Yeah, crime is not down in London, unfortunately. So I did a post on this earlier this week. On the data.london.gov website, basically the website where they publish all of the official London data, it's Sadiq Khan's own website.
Yeah.
It says on it, crime is up 10.9% compared to this time last year. So his own website is saying crime is up.
Right.
And when he came to power in, I think it was 2016 he came to power, there was roughly 750,000 crimes in London.
Yeah.
There was 910,000 crimes reported in London last year.
Which is an increase of roughly a third, right?
Yeah, I think about 21% or something to be precise. And people like to argue, oh, well, there's more people in London. It's like, yes, London's population has increased, but it's only increased by 11%.
Yeah.
So even if you factor that in, crime's still up.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. Murder's down. It's good. Let's have less murder. I don't think there's anyone against that.
Nobody's against it. But again,
why be disingenuous?
But it's anecdotal, isn't it? Because the murder rate, for example, is down by a handful of numbers, like a handful of people. So instead of 107 people being murdered, it's now 93 or something, which is it's a statistical anomaly. You could just say there's nothing in that figure that would suggest that, the trend is that it's coming down. It just means that, for some reason, 4 or 5 or maybe 10 people haven't been killed.
And when I looked into some of this, my understanding, and someone will correct me online, no doubt, but is that the reason why murders are down is just because we've got better at helping people once they get stabbed.
Right.
So
they're not dying as quickly.
So they're not dying as quickly, essentially.
Right.
And it's always someone like Fraser.
Well, look at just the last, I don't know, the last week. I mean, not far from where I live in Bermondsey, there was a guy arrested for stabbing two people in a housing estate in the middle of the day. He obviously went bananas. He had a dangerous dog as well. They took the dog off him. He stabbed two people. We had the stabbing in Edinburgh. I know that's outside of London, obviously, in a housing estate up there. An immigrant, by the looks of it, went mad and decided to just start stabbing people. Similarly, one in, I think, the Midlands. You know, I mean, it's going on all the time.
It's going on all the time.
So for any sort of, you know, political individual, whether it's Sadiq Khan or anybody else, to kind of claim that, oh, everything's fine, it's not fine.
It's not fine.
Crime is obviously going up, and an awful lot of the reasoning for the crime going up is the influx of an awful lot of immigrants coming to this country who seem to think that stabbing people is perfectly fine.
Well, and if you look at the rape stats and you overlay it with immigration into London and the population increase during the same time, there's a pretty close correlation. And look, I'm a brown bloke. I don't want to go around pointing out that lots of brown blokes are committing crime, but you've got to be honest what the data says.
I mean, you know, and again, once we get the reports that come in, people go, so who's committed this crime? You know, and then, oh, look, here's some footage of a guy who appears to be somebody from another country. They're not telling us who he is. They're not telling us where he's come from. They're not pointing out that he might be an immigrant. You know, until they go to court, we don't find out.
And this is what leads to most of the issues. Because if you're having an upfront conversation with it, you deal with it. Like, you know, strangely, when I go on holiday, being a brown bloke with a beard, I get stopped and searched a lot. My Japanese wife, not so much.
Really?
Yeah, strange that. Apparently, little Japanese woman doesn't get stopped at the airport. Are they supposed to then just start stopping her because they want to be fair and equal? Or is it because, unfortunately, people who look like me are more likely to potentially cause some trouble at the airport? Would I prefer to not be stopped? Yes.
Does that bother you, or do you okay with that?
Can it be annoying sometimes? Yes.
Right.
At the same time, if I want to be stopped and searched less, then I'd prefer if people who look like me stopped potentially doing bad stuff at airports.
Blowing people up.
Right?
I mean, it's a fairly fair, it's a fair point.
Right, and that should be a controversial opinion. And and we talk about London. So my wife was at an after-school club last week, talking to another mum who's South African. She's going back to South Africa this year because she feels she's going to be safer in South Africa than London now.
And South Africa used to be considered to be quite a dangerous place. I remember my sister went there probably 20 years ago in Joburg. And the hotel where she was staying, which was a very nice hotel, said, look, if you're going to go out in the evening, please let us know. We will escort you and we will take you, put you in a car, we'll take you wherever you want to go, we'll bring you back. Do not go out on your own. And that was the advice.
And apparently that now feels safer than Tower Hamlets, according to that woman. So,
isn't that terrible?
It is.
Absolutely awful. Super chats coming in. Let's have a look. What have we got? Super chat from Dapopo. Have you never seen Stevie Wonder's wife? No, nor has he. Yeah, very good. Let's not victimise blind people. This from Voice for England. Hi, Mike. You're an excellent guest. Will Kevin O'Sullivan come visit one day? Or as News UK said, he can't come out to play. Love your work. Well, actually, no. Kevin and I are still in touch. He's threatening to come down to the studio every now and again. So whenever we manage to get him down here, we'll try and get him on the air as well. John says this: I'm dyslexic and the sign looks fine to me. Well, of course it does, John, because you're dyslexic. The sign looks fine to me as well. Don't forget, I'm looking at it backwards. The Mike Graham show, I'm looking at it from behind, as we say, and it looks absolutely fine. This from Dyslexic Don, who is, of course, Donald McLeod. It's one of his pseudonyms. I think we should get rid of that concrete-obsessed clown on the chat room. Somebody called Chelios. I don't really care. I mean, the thing is that when people sort of walk into my world, I don't know whether you get a lot of this, they become quite obsessed with the fact that there are so many people sort of saying horrible things on Twitter or horrible things on social media or on the chat, insulting me, having a go. I don't care. I honestly couldn't care less.
That's what the mute button's for.
And it's like, if you are so bothered by me that you want to follow me, you want to actually watch the show, and you want to send me a crappy message, good luck to you.
Yep.
You know, keep watching, man. Just keep doing it. Keep making me richer.
I get
That's
a lot
what
of
we
that.
Like.
When I did that post yesterday, just innocent post. Look, hey, we spend this much on income tax.
Yes.
We spend this much on welfare.
Yes.
I made no comment whatsoever.
That was a great post, by the way.
But I also made no comment whatsoever about my personal opinion of that. It was just like, here's two statistics. The amount of people who got so angry about that.
And were they mostly people who got angry about the combination of the two kind of comparative subjects, if you like, because on the one hand, income tax coming in I think it was it something like 222...
329 billion.
329 billion. And then the welfare budget, which was actually more than that, going out the other way by a factor of about 7 or 8 billion. These are just facts.
A fact, you know. It's,
why do people not like that?
Well, they don't like it because it's inconvenient to a narrative. You know, ultimately, the reason I look for data is that helps me inform my viewpoint on whatever.
Yeah.
When I lived in Singapore, I was paying 10% tax. You've got you know, elderly people who are potentially, well, literally dying because they can't afford the cancer treatment. You know what? You want to charge me an extra % of tax? Fine.
Right.
I've come back to the UK, looked around. I don't understand what I'm paying for. Like I see all of this stuff. Tax needs to be lower. Right. It's just evidence based. You don't have to get angry about these
Singapore, I mean, I've only been to Singapore once in my life, and it was an amazing place and a great experience. And I thought, this is a really well-run, you know, little
Incredibly
sort of, you know, country. How do they do their tax? How do they judge
how to
tax people?
So they literally run the country for the most part on their reserves. They have nearly, unofficially, they have nearly £3 trillion, the size of our entire economy, in reserves, and they essentially use the profit from
Where
that.
do they get that from?
They pull it aside for, you know, over the course of a 30-year period.
Okay.
They have a number of sovereign wealth funds, both official and unofficial.
Yeah.
And they essentially use the profits for that to fund programs and so on, and fund the buildings of all of the fancy buildings and healthcare and all of that stuff. And so they made a decision around that. And what they've also done with pensions, for example, is they've actually, did you know, if we had just taken the proportion of national insurance that goes towards the pension payment and had invested that in just like a tracker fund ETF, the pension right now would be 4 to 5 times more than it currently is. Right? But instead, because we just do a tax and spend model, so what they've done is they've actually also set up kind of a personal fund. So when you pay some of your national insurance equivalent, it goes into a separate fund. You can only touch it for retirement, to buy a house, or for your healthcare.
Right.
But it means you've got it. It grows interest every year.
Yes.
And strangely now, 17% of the population are millionaires, 99% of the population own their own home.
Right.
Because they've just taken that model rather than we're just going to take money off of you and give it to them over there.
And what's the situation on benefits in places like Singapore? Can you get benefits?
They basically don't exist. And as a foreigner, I couldn't get any benefits. I also couldn't vote, which surprised me because I thought here, you know, everyone from the Commonwealth can vote. I thought I could vote in Singapore. I assumed it was mutual. Couldn't vote there either. Wasn't entitled to benefits. They don't even allow, as a foreigner, my daughter wouldn't have even been allowed to go to state school there.
Wow. So you'd have to put your kids into private school because you're a visitor.
Or go home and educate your kids at home.
You see, I think that makes perfect sense, because one of the problems that we've got in this country is that we are too welcoming, we are too willing to give, you know, freebies to people who come here from abroad, who are literally putting nothing into the economy and just taking out of the economy billions and billions and billions of pounds over time. And in the end, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, but it's something like £18 billion or something that was paid to foreign citizens. And again,
it's like, I mean, you make it simple for people, I suppose, to understand. It's a bit like having a 3-bedroom house. You invite 15 people to come and live with you, right? They use all the food in the house. They use all the electricity. They use all the water. And you, in the end, become a pauper as a result of what you think you're doing nicely for people to help them out. And they never leave. So you're not like, you know, training them up to go out and be doctors or to be, you know, I don't know, bus drivers, doesn't matter. But you're basically spending your entire life subsidising somebody else's life.
Yeah. So when I was in Singapore, I remember having a conversation with a colleague and explaining to them our welfare model.
Yeah.
And when I explained it, their response was, they looked at me and went, "Why would people go to work?"
Yeah.
I was like, well, strangely enough,
they don't. Right?
there is a proportion of people that have that make that decision, right?
That they've worked that out. That it's actually, there's no point. Yeah. You know, and those of us who do work do it because, one, we enjoy working, but also, two, we have a sort of pride in you know, being self-sufficient and actually making money which you can then spend any way you like. But more and more, I meet people who say, my kids don't want to work because, you know, they've got a bit of an issue with the work-life balance, and, you know, they don't want to have to get on a train every day. They don't want to have to, you know, struggle to make minimum wage when they've got a degree. They'd rather just pick up a benefit. And it's completely bonkers.
Well, that's it. I think the minimum wage now is more than my first job when, you know, I got my law degree and stuff. And, you know, part of it, though, is you've got to graft, you've got to climb your way up and start from the bottom.
But also, how about having a sense of pride in actually making your way through society and clambering up the greasy pole and getting to the point where you go, actually, I've done all right here.
And that's part of why I can't get on with the narrative of the Greens, for example. You know, having grown up as a poor kid from East London, who became the first person in my family to get a degree, ended up in some boardrooms and doing some M&A and stuff like that, and so on. But you know, there's a pride in that. I came from nothing. You climb your way out. Right. The whole point of social mobility. That's what this country was built on, was social mobility. The ability to put in the work. Look, not every equal. You can have equal opportunity, but we seem to be moving almost to equal outcome. And it's like, but if you're better, it doesn't matter who you're for, what your background is or so on. But if you are better, you should earn more than someone else who isn't quite as good as you.
Totally.
Right? And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or wherever you're from, socioeconomic status, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But now it seems like, well, no, unless everyone gets exactly the same, it's not fair.
Right.
But then I think what a lot of these people don't understand, and what Singapore does really well, is they understand it's all about incentives.
Yes.
And that's really what my experience living there and coming back was really kind of transformative in that regard. Because, for example, in Singapore, if you have, if the trains are delayed, the transport minister loses their job.
Yes.
Right? And so strangely, the trains always work.
Yeah, isn't that
there
funny?
are no delays.
Yeah.
Isn't that strange?
I know. Absolutely extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. Incredible stuff. Brilliant to see you.
Likewise.
And great to get your perspective on the world in general. Also, Charlotte keeps saying to me, "We stop calling Lee Neil." I didn't call him Neil, did I? Did I call you Neil?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Possibly.
Anyway, Neil.
Yep.
It's quite a complicated name.
Lee, Neil, yeah, it's all lots of
How do you
names.
pronounce your second name?
Nalallingham.
Nalallingham, right.
Yep.
So I plead guilty to not getting that right. So Nalallingham, Pooch is standing there. I like it better when you're busy, right? I don't like it when you're not busy. Telling me what bloody camera to look at, you can piss off, right? Go and do something important. He keeps pointing at the camera that I'm not looking at. So Lee, not Neil, Nalallingham, a very good man, a great man. He's been to Singapore and he can see how the future should look in this country. If only we were more like Singapore, it would be great. Kelvin MacKenzie's in the house. Have you brought any a cake for us today?
I have brought you
I wish you'd stop doing that.
I have brought you a cake.
All right. So Kelvin's going to sit down with us and talk us through some of the stories. I've got a great idea, which I think Kelvin's going to love, right? We came up with this yesterday. We are going to produce a Mike Graham licence fee. And we're going to say to you, you take your BBC licence fee, you rip it up, because it costs now, 174 quid. And what we'll do is we'll issue you with a new licence fee, which will be for the Mike Graham Show, for which you pay $4.99 a month. It's a lot cheaper, it's a lot more entertaining, a lot better. And you won't ever need to watch the BBC again. Simple, right?
And we're announcing your own...
And we're going to announce our own Question Time show, right?
No, your own channel.
And our own channel as well, yeah, absolutely. Well, no, absolutely. That's what the Mike Graham licence fee's for.
Why $4.99, by the way?
Well, that's the arrangement that our very important investors have landed on as a number. I don't know. Is the straight answer. Could be more than $4.99. Might go up to $5.99. I don't know. Anyway, Neil, Lee, thank you. Good to see you. We'll be back in a moment after the news with Edward Hughes with Kelvin MacKenzie.
Good morning. I'm Edward Hughes. The escalating Middle East conflict dominates UK headlines today, with Prime Minister Keir Starmer insisting the protection of over 130,000 British nationals in the region remains the government's top priority amid ongoing US and Israeli strikes on Iran and Iranian retaliatory actions. The UK has allowed limited US use of British bases, but is not directly joining offensive operations. Defence Secretary John Healey confirmed the UK's terror threat level is under active review following the strikes, while Foreign Secretary concerns grow over risks to UK troops and civilians. President Trump has publicly criticised Starmer's approach, calling him no Winston Churchill and straining transatlantic ties. Elsewhere, Chancellor Richard III highlighted inflation forecasts averaging 2.3% for 2026, though growth projections were downgraded. In sports, Arsenal extended their Premier League lead with a win over Brighton. More details throughout the day. Latest Tigers.
Graham? Sorry, Charlotte's now calling me Graham. I mean, I don't know what's going on today. Everybody's getting called by the wrong name. I just think there's some kind of element of what can only be described as dissent going on in the ranks. Kelvin MacKenzie's here. Very good morning, sir.
Yeah.
And you brought me a very nice. This is a chocolate
I
thing,
know,
isn't it?
but do you know what?
It's very small, by the way.
What, for £4.50? I thought it was an absolute disgrace, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's what they call shrinkage, isn't it? It's like when you're buying now Mars bar, it's about half the size it used to be. For twice the price.
Correct.
And you buy. I'll tell you what really you notice is, and I'm not a big fan of crisps, I don't eat them very often, but I do occasionally buy a sort of multi-pack just to have in the house of a roast chicken crisp.
Yeah.
The packet of crisps now, the individual packet, it's literally got about 5 crisps in it.
Correct.
It's that small.
However, if you want to pay £2.50, you can have a pack which used to cost you about 60 pence. That's the business we should have gone into.
Yeah.
So on top of the £4.99 licence fee, you're going to get a free packet of roast chicken crisps.
Now listen, I know that you will be you're a man who has been in the forefront of media businesses for most of your life, right? For most of the last several decades.
Yeah.
And I want your...
I'm just about to be again.
I want your advice on this, right?
Go on.
Because I think we've hit on something brilliant. This is Pooch and I yesterday having a conversation with none other than my Lord Kempsell.
Lord Kempsell?
Was throwing a party last night for the Chagos Islands, which went very well. It was on a boat in the Thames, which wasn't going anywhere. Starmer had managed to stop it going anywhere.
So it's a bit like the rest of the defence policy.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, a bit like HMS Dragon. We'll see in a couple of weeks.
Do you know what was strange about that HMS Dragon? The reason it hasn't set sail is because there is welding going on at Portsmouth. Somebody told me in Sink the Bismarck.
Yeah.
Actually, when they put our warships to sea, then right, we actually told the welders to stay on the boat and carry on welding while we were going.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, right. But can you imagine?
And then helicopter them off.
Can you imagine saying to welders at Portsmouth, "Look, mate, you're heading out to Cyprus. Oh yeah, for a holiday.
Yeah.
No, you're going to see a number of missiles heading your way.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Unite or whichever union were? Brother, we need war money. Yeah. We need war money. We don't. We like Cyprus for holidays. We don't like it to be blowing up.
Yeah, exactly right. But I mean, again, even Dan Hodges, a man who I sort of groomed into hating Keir Starmer, because when he first started out, he quite liked him. I mean, he's saying now today, how is it possible that these people in Labour government didn't know, one, that there was a build-up of huge artillery in the middle of the Arabian Sea by the Americans, right? Yeah. Everybody could see it. We were watching it for 2 weeks.
It was advertised.
Yeah.
The president was saying, I'm sending them out there.
And he's now, apparently, ordered a procurement of anti-drone protection for the Cyprus airbase. And you're going, hang on a minute, well, he got attacked like a week ago. How did he not have the protection before that?
I think the problem is they don't believe in this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't.
Their heart's not in it, is it?
What they say is, Iran, have as many nuclear warheads as you like.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll tell you why. Because actually, we don't care that the number one policy that has survived now since 1979 is the obliteration of Israel.
Yeah.
Actually. Do you know what?
Yeah.
We don't care. Why? There are only 250,000 Jews in this country, and there are 4 million Muslims.
Yeah.
And actually, we've had an electoral look at it all, and actually, we've worked out we don't care. It is the most disgusting policy I have seen. The thing I can't understand is actually, do you know what? Having seen the Green vote currently, I can understand it. We must have in our country the most stupid people who have ever gone round the world looking for a home and suddenly decided, I tell you what, the UK is the place for it.
Yeah.
We can kill the Israelis and we can give Iran a nuclear warhead, which one day they may well use against somebody else as well.
I mean, imagine
how
this,
mad is that?
Imagine this. Imagine travelling around the world and deciding that, not only have we decided to settle in Britain, but we've decided to settle in Rochdale, right? The world's worst shithole, right? But they actually want to live there. And you go, really? Do you?
Well, no.
Actually, got better than that. How about Bradford?
It's
right?
even better now.
Charlotte's as sharp in taking breath over there.
Okay, it's even better now.
She's from Burnley.
So the way it works out now is you come over here, you pay a smuggler to get across the channel, you pay him $3,000, right? You and your family say $6,000 for cash, okay? They get over here and they have a look at Rochdale and they say, do you know what? You're right. Hold on, I was in Dalston the other week. Yeah. Oh my God!
Yeah,
right.
You said, yeah.
So I said, I tell you what we're going to do. Now we're illegals and we're going to get slung out.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? We're going to claim the 40 grand.
Yeah, well, this is another story.
We're going to claim the 40,000 pounds, and we're heading back. And so there we are. Suddenly, you are 33 grand in front, and you've had a look at Rochdale and Bradford, and you've had a look at some other areas.
You can buy a couple of houses up there for 40 grand, can't you?
You probably could, man. And very attractive they would be too.
Lovely, yeah. Absolutely lovely. I mean, The Sun has got this. I mean, they don't think it's that important of a story because, as you can see, it's all the way back on page 19.
Yeah.
479 people have arrived this month. Labour are offering £40,000. In case you didn't know this story, it happened after we left yesterday. £40,000 a family. And what's the most ridiculous thing about this story is that the government's argument is that it's cheaper to give you 40 grand to bugger off than it is to let you stay here, because that would cost us in excess of 100,000.
Yes, I mean, look, actually, of them all, by 1,000 million miles, Mahmood is closer to your viewership and to you. Okay?
Maybe.
Right.
But she's not really achieving much, is she?
No, and it's not saying much. And not only that, she is completely an outlier within the Parliamentary Labour Party.
Yeah.
There was a series of WhatsApps that were going around yesterday from people like, not actually the usual suspects, but Stella Creasy and that mob, and all Sarah Owen, all saying, actually, this is an absolute disgrace. Because what happened was, the way that the government comms work is they send out to the MPs, this is the government position, please proselytise.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
What happened? They did two things. They wrote back saying, get stuffed, we're not sending out this policy. And then they revealed, then they put out to the press that their WhatsApps. So there is, and I read on the Times this morning, I think, saying that there were 100 MPs hostile to Mahmood's plans, which are more general than just this 40 grand. 100 does it. It's over. So this feels like another welfare benefits issue.
I don't think they're going to reverse it.
If this happens, that is the end. Okay, there will definitely be a run at Starmer. Yeah. So Starmer goes, Reeves goes
with him,
and so absolutely more certainly than not, Mahmood goes. We are looking at. Do you remember Farage? I never bought this, and I still don't really buy it. Farage says there will be a general election before 29.
Yes, I think he's right about that.
Right.
I hope he is, by the way.
Okay. I still don't think he is.
All right.
However, if we lost the whole lot, Prime Minister, Chancellor and Home Secretary, only leaving, actually, as one of the great officers of state, leaving Yvette Cooper there, you'd have to think something has gone seriously wrong with the running of our nation.
Yeah.
But, okay, I'm an outlier on this. I know Mahmood, the best of a very bad bunch. And at least she is saying something, because I can think of how many of them are there. 411 other Labour MPs who would never, ever, ever have said any of this.
Okay. Well, let me scare the pants off you by showing you what the Greens will do before we talk to our next guest, who is Ralph Schoellhammer. I'll be back. As he often says. Have a look at this. This is a woman called Rachel Millward, right, who is a Green councillor, probably destined to be an MP at some point. This is what she says about the whole business of immigration.
Pressing to see in government today our Home Secretary take another lurch to the right with such conviction as she recycles old BNP policies that would pay people to get out of the country before forcibly deporting them. And she didn't rule out forcibly deporting children, really reminiscent of horrific Trumpian ICE policies. Let's not forget that the reason that the number of asylum seekers has been going up in this country is because the number of forcibly displaced people across the world due to war, conflict, and the effects of climate change has tripled over a decade, and it will just get worse now that the conflict in the Middle East is rising again. We need to look after these people, to treat them well and with respect, and to understand that this was a last resort, that they'd rather be back home. They're fleeing war, persecution, horrors. The vast majority of people seeking asylum here get it. Sometimes the Home Office makes the wrong decision and then the court overturns it. They deserve to be here, they deserve a welcome. It is performative cruelty just to make life more difficult for them, to appease this narrative of the far right, and it won't work. It really won't. We need people to integrate in our communities. We need their skills. And actually, we could be more like Spain than Denmark and welcome asylum seekers and realise the economic benefit from embracing migration. So I think Gordon and Denton show that our communities want to live well together. Yeah, people are absolutely furious. The bills are too high, the rent's insane, you can't afford the weekly shop. But that is not the fault of refugees and asylum seekers. And this government needs to start speaking the truth about that. Join us.
You see, This is the problem, that there are people in this country like her, Rachel Millward, who's a Green councillor, likely to become an MP, who thinks it's all our fault that we're not welcoming enough to these poor people who are coming from war-torn countries who deserve to be given, everything for free. Have a look at this. Mike, it definitely says Graham the Mike Show. Ask yourself why people would be saying... No, it doesn't. Look, I can see... I'm looking at it backwards.
What happened to your sign over the back?
Well, it's sort of fused, right?
Well, it doesn't matter whether it fused, mate. You're running a business
I know.
here. You're not running...
I've said to Pooch, look, what are we doing about it?
Pooch,
right?
Pooch. It's no use walking around looking like some renegade from the city there. He's all suited up. He's doing absolutely bugger all except eating pan of chocolats.
Right.
People I know...
Yeah, they
actually
like the sign.
like the sign. They don't even like the output, but they love the sign.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, I've said
we need to replace it.
I've
We need to replace Pooch.
Yeah, I've said...
Pooch must go.
Yeah, Pooch must go. Can we not get another sign, I said, while we're waiting to fix the other one? Because you have to send the other one away.
Can I say, it's the defining moment of your media creativity.
It is.
Right? And the fact that it's blowing a fuse...
I know.
Right, that won't be the first time you will have blown a fuse, will it?
But I tell you what, I think the reason that it's blown a fuse is because of the incredible demand for the show. I mean, we're about to crash through 10 million views, right? Having only been going for 2 months.
How many of them enjoyed it?
None
4.
of them. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. I'm not interested in whether they enjoy it or not. I just want them watching it, right? Particularly if the advertisers like them for it. And so what we found, we were talking to some people last night who should remain nameless.
In the gutter.
There was, I'm going to show you some footage of a party, Chagos Islands party that was going on. And they're very talented people, the Chagos Islanders, by the way. They were playing music and singing and all the rest of it.
Can I be honest, Mike?
Go on.
You couldn't have found Chagos in a light mist prior to
I thought it was
Starmer.
somewhere near the Isle of Sheppey, to be honest.
Exactly. It's a place where they're going to put a nuclear reactor on there. It's that kind of place.
Yeah, it's fine, but it doesn't matter. The point is that it's all about the zeitgeist, right? And you know about the zeitgeist, don't you? You used to employ that guy from Germany.
He got rid of him.
Mr. Zeitgeist. You probably fired him. He didn't like the way he looked.
Well, we fired a Spanish guy, didn't we? Called Elbow. He got the elbow.
Like that. That was it. But no, the point is that, there's been such intensity. People have said to me things like, we're doing quite well on YouTube. We've got 17,000 subscribers. How many have you got? I went, I've got 141. They went, what? Yeah. How did you get that? And we've done it literally within 2 months. It's extraordinary. So the sign actually.
Okay,
I think
can I say the reason that they're coming on
because of the massive,
that's the reason. Yeah, that's the reason. It was the sign, not the content.
Well, listen, I've had a word with Pooch, and he's promised me that he's ordered not only another sign. He's going to fix the current one, but he's also ordered another one. So
if you are relying on Pooch's promises. Expect to go bust faster than...
Listen, so far, Pooch's advice has led us to a nirvana of acceleration and growth.
Anyway, if we could guarantee that sign back again, I guarantee you...
What's the word on how long it's going to take, Pooch?
Well, it'd be quicker than if we order a new one. Remember how long the other one took? They said they can do a Kelvin MacKenzie one within 3 days.
Okay, well, you want to do that. You want to do that. With my name, honestly... you can forget about Mike Graham. Forget he's gone. That would be funny, wouldn't it? Right, you put
just replace it. Just different name.
Just say, well, what happened to Mike Graham?
Yeah.
Well,
Can you imagine the
we've had a
reaction?
board meeting,
Yeah, we've had a
and
board
he's
meeting,
gone.
and he's gone. And we're just going to have to see how we get along without him, as Rupert would say.
We're just going to have to see how we get on. Right, but actually, the way that conversation worked, Rupert would say, how long have you been with us now? And you would say, well, I've been with you now for 23 years, Rupert. Well, we're just going to have to see how we get on without you. Yeah. Oh, well, thanks very much.
He then gets up and walks out the room, presumably, right? Brilliant. Now, listen, Ralph Schoellhammer is here, who is, of course, the world's greatest impersonator of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And every time we get him on, we have to ask him the question whether he will be back. Ralph, a very good morning.
Well, Mike, it all depends. It all depends on you. I hope I'll be back many times. So.
Well, listen, we'll get your name up in lights quicker than you can say Paul Puccioni.
How much money would it cost for his surname?
Sorry,
Ralph's surname. Actually, if they do these things, if they charge by the yard.
Yeah.
It would probably cost about 400 quid to have his name put up in lights.
Quite a long name. Yeah, absolutely right. I don't know whether you're able to watch, Ralph, the earlier piece of footage that we had there of this bloody awful woman called Rachel Millward, who is a Green Party member and probably soon to be MP. She's one of these women who can only be described as these kind of insipid white middle class women who go, we must welcome all these people into our country because, we have a duty to look after them. We must give them a house. We must give them the ability to live free in our country. It's absolutely destroying the West, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I think these by-elections showed quite nicely what the future of Britain is supposedly going to look like, because the demographics there are the demographics of all of England and all of the UK in the future. If nothing changes, of course, that's always the condition. And it reminds me, I always look for a good analogy when we talk about a multicultural society. And I feel like the best one I can come up with is, imagine you throw a dinner party and you invite 50 people. And every single one of them has very strict dietary restrictions, right? One is a vegan, one is a carnivore, one does, keto. There are probably even more. You can easily find 50 different diets. And you're supposed to cook a meal that fits everyone. It's not going to be possible. You probably have to make an individual meal for everyone. And this is the role then of the state. All you do is then to look after individual groups and individual desires, but there is no longer a society to speak of. Again, what's happening is that more and more, some of the oldest nations on the planet will be reduced to just being a name on a map, and that's it. I find that very tragic.
It really is tragic, because it seems as though we ought to all be in agreement that, there is one thing which is eating away at the structure of our sort of society, and it is this ridiculous immigration policy that we all seem to be suffering from. Because to me, it's a massive malaise, right? It's not sensible, it's not clever, it's costing us far too much money, we can't afford it. We're now looking at paying people £40,000 to leave the bloody country, and they think that's going to stop them coming. And you're going, what? Who's coming up with this rubbish?
But there is no agreement. This is the one point. This is that the bell I've been ringing for years. There is a significant percentage of the governing elite, then embodied by the woman you showed before, who generally dislike, if not hate, their own country, their own culture, their own heritage. This is not say, we have different opinions, but we have the same goal. We do not have the same goal. There are those who want to keep Britain British and England English, and there are those who won't. So this is not just this is not like the old saying of Her Majesty's loyal opposition, where we might differ on the path, but we have the same destination. These people have a completely different destination in mind than you and I do, and I think we should take them at their word. There's always this hand wringing of they don't get it, they don't understand it. They understand it very well, because they can read statistics. They just choose not to believe them or to gaslight the population.
Yeah, I know. It is extraordinary. Kelvin, the fact that we've now arrived in this place where we weren't ever, when you were, editing The Sun back in the 80s and 90s and running businesses in the early part of this century, we didn't have this kind of obsession with migration. Even just the other day, we were told by Rachel Reeves, the reason there's no growth in Britain is because, migration's down. And it's absolute rubbish, right? Migration is down, or net migration is down, because loads of people are leaving the country. Nothing to do with no people coming into the country. Why are we destroying our own economy from within?
I find it very uncomfortable in this country that what seems to be happening is we are having people coming in illegally, and in turn we're losing good people who feel either that the people I feel desperately sorry for right now actually are the 18, 21s, 24-year-olds who are setting out in life looking for work. And companies, for the first time in my lifetime, are working out ways not of growing their workforce, they're working out ways of reducing their workforce, meaning that many companies now have halved the number of graduates they're taking, a quarter of it. And at the same time, we are allowing another cohort of people to come in who honestly don't really have anything really much to offer us. And therefore, what is the point of sending our children to education and to debt at the same time when there's nothing there? And at the same time, if they're not generating wealth, who on earth is going to pay for this cohort of people coming in who aren't going to add any value to our country? And I don't understand why anybody just doesn't say, this cannot go on. We have to do something. And what I fear, I expect Nigel Farage to do better and the Greens to do worse at the next election. What I fear is that even Nigel Farage will not be prepared to make the full decision. We aren't taking anybody else in because he doesn't want to fall out either with France or with Europe or with somebody. Okay. Whereas what the thing whether I admire him sometimes and I don't on others, with Trump, at least he is saying, this doesn't work, we're going to do this. And when the criticism starts, he continues to press on.
He does.
I admire him.
No,
and
I think so.
And if I'm an Israeli, if I'm a 10 million of the Israelis sitting there looking at these pigs across the sand saying, I am going to drop an H-bomb on you the minute I get it, because it has been my, 79, 46, 47-year policy, right, to destroy it. I'm saying, thank you. And I say to Starmer, don't you care about anybody?
I know.
Don't you care about the Jews?
Absolutely ridiculous. Let me ask you this, Ralph, because in this country, I was talking to some people last night at a Chagos Island kind of a celebration, if you like, because it looks as though that whole policy of Starmer's is now dead in the water. People are telling me that companies now in London are starting to turn against the whole, DEI crap. They're starting to turn against the whole migrant nonsense, and they're starting to move back slightly to the right wing of policy in their own minds. And they're saying, we need to get our country back. We need to get our economy back. We need to stop relying on this nonsensical kind of welfare state that we're spending so much money on. Are you finding that in Austria, in Europe? What's going on?
No, partially, but I don't find it particularly encouraging, because we have to be honest enough and say that the City of London and Wall Street, but in many ways also members of industry, they went along with every lie as long as it served their profit at the bottom line. And as I said, in certain areas, I admit it freely, I have moved not completely, but I have moved slightly to the left, especially when it comes to economics, because from net zero to mass migration, everybody who wanted to see the disastrous consequences could see it, and there was a collusion between the financial centers, between industry and the political class we already talked about, to let this happen. And just a quick other point, I'm a little bit tired, no offense to your guest, but I'm a little bit tired of the distinction between legal and illegal migration. The sense of most people is that the boat is full, the bathtub is flowing over, and the consequences, particularly negative ones, are not going to go away because it's legal or illegal. It's just too much. This is not a matter of law. This is a matter of simply having crossed a certain threshold that most people, again, not just in the UK, are no longer willing to accept. When I walk out of my front door in Vienna, I don't want to feel like I'm in the Middle East. And I don't care if these people are here legally or illegally, or as asylum seekers or as refugees. It doesn't matter to me. This is no longer my country, and I want it back. And this is how most people feel.
Yeah. And I think that's absolutely going through most of the European capitals that we see. However, the reality is that you can't get rid of people once they're here, I mean, I walk through parts of London which have changed completely and are never going to go back. I don't know what you do about that. I mean, how do you get that back?
No, of course. I mean, I admit that this is a broader debate we're going to have at some point, but it's always, do we not want to do it? What would be the consequences? How can it be done in a humane fashion? But to simply say it cannot be done, I just want to remind everyone of the COVID years. I mean, we have seen what the state can do to the individual if it chooses to do so. I mean, we had vaccine passport controls all over Europe. I mean, how easy was it to force people to identify themselves and basically share medical information with all kinds of people when it comes to your migration status, when it comes to your age, when it comes to finding out your actual country of origin. We say, oh, we can't do this. This is so complicated. This is an administrative impossibility. Of course it's possible. It's a lack of will, but it's not a lack of feasibility. And I think telling the people that it is lying to the population. And by the way, that pressure and that sense of anger is not going to go away. This is such an absurd idea that people say, oh, people will get used to it. No, they won't. The longer you wait, the more radical the answer will be. I'm observing very closely what's going on with the Restore Party, and particularly among the young British right. Yeah. And they are far ahead in the level of radicalization. And by the way, I don't mean radicalization in a derogatory term, just as a descriptive term. They are far, far further than anybody, in the top echelons of reform or elsewhere. So you wait another 5 to 10 years, and we're not just talking about remigration. We will talk about deportation, but in a much, much more, let's say, brutal and potentially, of course, also cruel way. Again, I'm not saying this because I'm in favor of it. I'm saying this is where the current trajectory simply is going. Yeah. The level of anger that is building up, I think, is completely underestimated, both by the media, exceptions, of course, like your show, Mike, by most of the media, and by the political establishment.
Yeah, no, they don't want to talk about it. It's too awkward for them. It's too uncomfortable. And they don't want to be seen to be suggesting that, there are some people in the world who are less well fitted to our society than others. No, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to say it. They don't want to say the words. I'm going to say them because I can. There are people from parts of the world that are coming to our country who are not fit to be here, who shouldn't be here, who are not in any way civilized enough.
No, it got nothing to do, by the way, with xenophobia or racism or something else. It's just a simple acceptance of the fact. So, for example, I'm in England many times. I mean, I'm a regular guest on your show, so obviously your views are not particularly racist. But I will never be English, right? If I marry an English girl, right, then my children and my grandchildren, right, they then might slowly move into becoming English, and that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with this. People say, "Oh, how dare you to say this?" This is absolutely fine. I completely accept it, and I think that most people in the UK wouldn't mind. I hope at least, right, wouldn't mind me moving to the UK because, of course, they understand that there are cultures that are compatible. Even though we're all Anglo-Saxons, if you want. That's a joke. Don't want to anger anybody. But then there are cultures that are more difficult to integrate. And the idea that somebody moving from Sweden to the UK is absolutely the same as somebody moving from Somalia to the UK, or somebody from Austria moving to the UK is just like somebody from Afghanistan moving to the UK, is completely insane. We have been taught for decades there is something like multiculturalism, except mass migration. There we all the same. So there are all these differences in different cultures, and then you say, but if the cultures are different, is it possible that some are more compatible than others? And then they say, no, it's all the same. It's all the same. So what is it now? I mean, there's not even a logical cohesiveness, if you want, or coherence to the whole thing, because, and that's my last point, I promise, because the main goal of multiculturalism is not multiculturalism, it is the destruction of Western culture. And I think if we do not start to understand this, we will continue to have these debates until it is too late.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Ralph, brilliant to talk to you as ever. Thank you very much indeed. I mean,
Thank you so much, Mike. Sorry, it was a long rant.
No, not at all. Listen, you'll be back. Don't worry. We'll continue
I will be back. I hope so.
We'll continue it. Kelvin MacKenzie's here with me. Shabana Mahmood gave an interview, I think, yesterday on one of the TV shows, talking about how British she was and how, she felt much more British than she felt anything else. And I think the person asking her the question actually surprisingly said, she's like, when I'm watching England playing Scotland at football, I support England. And he went, what about when Pakistan are playing England at cricket? Oh, I support England. And we know for a fact that there are plenty of people who live in this country, who have been living in this country, maybe even born in this country, who get more excited about Pakistan playing cricket than England do.
Oh yeah,
and that's wrong, isn't it?
The cricket test is long dead.
Yeah.
If you actually support any cricket, if you go, for instance, India or
India, Pakistan playing Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Right. You get this incredible kind of mix of cultures where loads of Pakistanis and loads of Indians who are all living in Britain turn up and shout at each other.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, they've had to scrap many of the cricket matches now because both sides are threatening to bomb the Bijatas out of it.
Right.
Can I just say, move on for 1 second?
Yes.
I've just been reading. You probably don't know this guy, but there's a guy called Ben Thompson who's a BBC presenter.
Oh yeah.
He's at dinner at Cicconi's, which is just up the road from Claridge's.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Mayfair.
And he's out to dinner with a guy called Roger Dove, who is who runs his own perfume business.
Okay. He's obviously making too much money at the BBC if he's living and dining in that kind of neck.
Well, it depends on who picked up the bill there, I suspect. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
Right, it's a very expensive place. And they get jumped on by a gang, a gang of 6. Ben Thompson has a £7,000 watch, and that goes.
Right.
And Mr. Dove is wearing a £150,000 watch.
Crikey.
Right. The point I make, right, and by the way, he's a successful guy. I'm delighted for him.
Yeah.
Right. And he said he bought it because it was his 65th birthday, and he wanted a present for himself.
Right.
I presume he's single.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's highly unlikely that the missus would have said,
wouldn't go. Yeah, you're fine with that.
Go, you're fine with that. And do you mind if I go down to that rather tatty pawn shop down the road and get my stuff back? Anyway. My problem about that is that there's a court case.
Yeah.
The guys,
so they caught the guys.
They caught
which is very unusual.
They caught 2 of them.
Right.
One of the guys, his defence was I wasn't there, and they had him on CCTV. I won't bother to name them. You can probably guess what their background is. My point about this is this: Ben Thompson, BBC breakfast presenter, says he no longer feels safe in London.
Right.
Well, welcome to London.
Yeah.
Honestly. So I have a friend who works in a hotel in Knightsbridge, which has a big Arab, big Middle East clientele.
Yeah.
They have suffered grievously for exactly this reason. And I know it sounds absolutely mad, but if you have an expensive watch, and by the way, you can't buy a watch now by the look of it under $2,000. If you look in any of the windows, it's one of the most astonishing things that's happened in my lifetime is that a watch which I thought would disappear with this, right, has actually accelerated into a piece of jewellery.
Well, I used to have a rule when I lived in New York, which is never buy expensive lighters, sunglasses, or watches, because you're either going to lose them or get them nicked. Right? My sister had a Dunhill lighter.
Oh, I remember
in the old
those.
days, right?
Well, the gold one.
But 75 quid was a lot of money in those days, and that was how much it cost. Same goes for sunglasses. I've now broken all of those rules. I've got expensive sunglasses. I don't smoke anymore, so I haven't got a lighter. And I bought myself quite a nice watch. But it's not flashy.
So here's the rub. You come out of Cicconi's, right, which is the road, which is on a road which links Berkeley Square really to
Mount Street,
Oxford Street. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Honestly, you are mad to be wearing a £150,000 watch. But also, so this guy, Ben Thompson now, welcome to our world.
Yeah, right.
So I think he must operate, the breakfast show comes out of Manchester, doesn't it? Comes out of Salford.
Salford, yeah.
I don't know how dangerous Salford is. Perhaps your viewers will come on to
But it's proper
us.
dangerous as opposed to, like, you don't get your watch nicked, you get your head cut off. It's one of those kind of, dangerous places.
Right. My point is, he should go on TV, right?
Yeah.
He should actually
and
be the
tell
subject.
The story, yeah.
Can you imagine going on the and especially probably if you looked at the status
demographic,
the demographic of the people who carried out the crime, right? So I doubt whether they came from Hampshire.
Unlikely.
Right. Yeah. Or Herefordshire. So the reason he can't go on there is because he's not allowed to tell this story. So, Ben Thompson, I'm saying to you, Why don't you take on your bosses and say, I've got a good story. I was involved in a crime.
Yeah.
I lost my watch. My mate lost his £150,000 watch. 2 of the 6 criminals were caught up. London, he says he no longer feels safe in London. The BBC Breakfast should do that.
Yeah.
First of all, because BBC Breakfast is total tosh, and at least this becomes watchable.
Yes.
Okay? So, Mr. Thompson, here's your chance. You've got an exclusive. Why don't you use your leverage so that people understand clearly what is happening in our capital and who is doing it to us? That is the important point about this.
Yeah.
Right. So, Ben, up to you. If you're a journalist, you'll get your way. After all, your editor has been in a degree of trouble with Miss Manchetti. Right. Here's your chance to ingratiate yourself with your editor and come up with an exclusive, something as rare as hen's teeth on BBC Breakfast. Okay? This is an important aspect to it. One of your major presenters is scared to be in London.
Exactly right. Well, maybe we should go the other way and get Charlotte to get in touch with him and say, why don't you come on the Mike Graham show and tell your story here?
Can I tell you, you'll be whistling Dixie out your rear end before that happens.
Yeah, well, listen, you know, people have said that to me in the past, and then they've gone, blimey, he actually managed to make that happen.
Actually, I would admire it.
Yeah,
I would admire him
if
he would tell his story.
Because the other thing that we're going to do, and I mentioned this earlier, and we're going to elaborate on this over the course of the next several weeks, we are going to create a Mike Graham license fee, right? Which we're going to mean that we're going to do a swap.
Yeah.
In fact, we're going to say to
good
people,
idea.
right,
This is one of
this
your
is
better
a good idea,
ideas,
isn't it?
yeah.
So we're going to go, right, you've got your BBC licence. A lot of people don't pay anymore. Pooch is one of them. Sorry to out you again, Pooch.
Right.
This is what happens when you're not doing anything. I just keep outing you for stuff.
Devil makes work.
Yeah, basically. So we're going to say, right, here's your BBC licence fee, which now costs something like 174 quid.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We will offer you a much better deal, right? So all you've got to do is you've got to tear up in front of you on camera, preferably on a video, tear up your licence fee and take out a new licence fee with the Mike Graham Show, which is only $4.99 a month, which by my reckoning means that it's 60 quid for the year, which saves you over £100. And you get a whole panoply of not only this show, but other shows which we will be revealing, including one that Kelvin and I will be doing, on a show, on a completely separate station.
Do you know what?
Called
Can I ask
UK Live, right? Which is going to be entire wraparound.
I'm not hostile.
I'm not hostile
to the
TV
idea.
station, right?
What kind of value are you offering for £60? £60 will buy you, even round here, will buy you and your family a Chinese.
A couple of pan of raisins.
Actually, you're right. Actually, you should point that out. At £4.50, hold it up to the camera.
This is the smallest,
right?
The smallest piece of pastry I've ever seen.
Yeah,
right?
it's absolutely
Last
disgrace.
time you came in, you had something about this size.
I did, yeah,
right?
but
now,
I was
it's got
contacted by your
shrinkage.
doctor.
Yeah, good.
Your doctor
I'm
called
glad.
you,
Well,
and
I've
he
told
said
you.
that the diabetes issue in this country was not being helped by me advertising this cake shop in Vauxhall
Exactly
Station.
right. He's entirely correct. I can't believe it's 13 minutes past 8 already. We've got the international clock behind me, and I was looking at that, so I didn't realise we were running behind. It's 13 minutes past 8. We've got who have we got to talk to next? Because my news queue has disappeared. Can you give us a? Oh, here we go. Philip Kiszely is going to be here, the philosopher from Manchester, and we're doing Plonk of the Week, by the way, inside the show today because I've got to get the hell out of here at 9 o'clock. So, meanwhile, Kelvin's here. We've got a couple of other stories to talk about, including Oxfam. Yep. Right, Oxfam have decided. You'll like this. This is in the Times.
Yeah.
They've decided they're no longer going to be a charitable organisation. Right. They've decided they're going to be influencers, and so they want to basically sort of lobby on behalf of gender neutrality. They want to lobby on behalf of.
Are they saying that the idea of Oxfam is old and over?
Yes.
You mean?
Yeah. Because there's only so many kids you can molest at the end of the day. You know, you just keep going to Africa and you know, raping children. You can do it. The same thing in Caribbean. After a while, it gets a bit boring. So now they've decided to be.
But do you know what's incredible? You're an influencer.
I am.
You are influencing people to eat more cake.
I am. I'll tell you what I'm also doing, right?
What?
I had people coming up to me last night on a boat in the Thames.
Yeah.
From the Chagos
Trying
Islands.
to throw you overboard.
No, saying, would you mind moving to the other side? No, it wasn't that. They were going, you've done so many great things for us. In fact, I'll tell you what, before we do the news, play the video of me. I'd had a couple of sherbets by this point, right?
No. What time was it?
Hang on.
What time was it?
About 8 o'clock or something.
Really? Only a couple?
A couple. But the people from the Chagos were coming up to me going, Mike Graham, you've done so much for us. We're going to win this fight against the government. Have a look.
Oh, right.
There's an amazing thing going on behind me here. Chagos Islands, we have made a major victory. You can see people are dancing, right? It's a party on a boat in the Thames, a boat that even Keir Starmer can't stop, because this is the victory. This is the victory dance, actually. Have a look at this. Look at that. People from the Chagos Islands are literally celebrating because Lord Ross Kempsell, has managed to reverse government policy. Reverse the idea that we cannot look after these people.
This is every Ugandan conversation.
The fact that they should be treated as second class.
Can I just point out?
People from the Chagosians. Look at that. It's amazing. Absolutely fantastic. You might not be able to hear me very well. It's quite noisy. But, listen, here's a message to Keir Starmer. Stick it up your punter, mate.
Okay, my question.
That's proper journalism.
That is journalism.
Yeah.
I particularly like that bit. Right. How much alcohol did it take to put you in that shape?
Well,
what time did you arrive there?
Well, the party started about 6, right? I met up with my Lord Kempsell at about 5ish.
Does Lord Kempsell, does he enjoy sherbet?
He does. Yeah.
Yeah,
this is a guy who's had a fantastic career, right? Because he started out as a reporter for Guido Fawkes.
Yeah.
He now owns the company, right?
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's now bought Guido Fawkes. And we're in conversations with him about all sorts of things.
I was interested in buying that.
Yeah, okay. So we went and had a look at his operation yesterday, Pooch and I. We ended up in a pub nearby, not far from Lambeth High Street. And,
how did he make his money then?
Well, he became... He was part of the Downing Street machine under Boris Johnson. Yeah. And he now runs a consultancy company,
Oh, is that right?
So it's one of those.
Oh, right.
So, best not to ask too many questions, really, I think, about
fine.
that.
So you started at 5.
So
you arrived on the boat at 6.
Arrived on the boat at 6.
What time was that
the
shot?
festivities were going on, it was probably about 8ish.
Oh, 80. By which time you had consumed what? Half of the output of Chagos's winery?
Yeah, probably, something like that, yeah. There was a very nice, dry rosé wine that I was imbibing.
It's a killer, the rosé.
Yeah, it is.
If it's sweetish.
No, this was Provence.
This was good
dry.
stuff, was it? Okay.
Not bad, yeah.
Right. Once you start getting, I tell you who's big in that.
Yeah.
Clarkson, Jeremy Clarkson.
Is he?
Oh yeah.
Well,
the reason that Jeremy Clarkson managed to drink his way through Monjaro, which is not easily done, right, is because of his love of the rosé.
Yes, the grape. Well, this is the thing. You see, my cardiologist and my personal trainer, by the way.
Oh no! This is a complete joke.
Right.
This is a complete joke.
No.
You have a personal trainer.
I do, yeah.
To train you what? Into drinking?
No, he keeps... That's how I've lost 20 kilos. Do you not... You've seen
I know
that?
you keep saying that.
I
I do agree.
Yeah. No, he said to me, he said one of the things you could stop doing is stop drinking beer. So normally I do like that. Like last night, I'd have had a couple of pints of Guinness, probably, and now I don't drink beer at all. I just drink wine. By the pint.
But wine, but beer is 5% proof. The wine is 12, 13%.
Yeah, but it's the calories, though. I don't want the calories.
Means you end up looking like that every single night.
What's wrong with that?
I
was getting a lot of praise from the Chagos Island women, to be fair.
What do you mean? They admired your handsomeness?
Yeah, absolutely. And they were hugging me, kissing me, saying thank you for everything you've done.
No.
Yeah, totally.
Really?
Yeah.
So when are you going? When are you going back to the boat?
I'm going to the Chagos Islands for the summer holidays. I'll tell you that. Because
Chagos on sea.
Chagos on sea. It looks as though, by the way, that whole bill. And thanks to Lord Kempsell, by the way, he's never coming back to the House of Lords. Starmer has made another complete rick of it. And basically,
is that true?
Yeah, it's gone. The whole thing.
Well, they now believe it's over.
Well, did you see that this week Mauritius came out and actually backed Iran?
Yeah.
Right? So we can't possibly give them the Chagos Islands now.
No.
Trump is now going even more mad, going, absolutely forget about it. We're not doing it.
Why don't we invade Mauritius?
Why don't we go and do a show there? I think that's what Pooch, what do you think?
I said, yeah, Chagos.
Why don't I know? I tell you, I've got a cheaper idea.
Yeah.
Why don't we pretend that this is Chagos? I.e., just get it green screened, and we get a bit of music going.
I'll tell you what.
A bit of alcohol.
You're making fun of me, right? There was a very important man at the do last night.
Oh, who was that?
And it was Nigel Farage. Have a look at this.
Oh, was he there?
Let's have a look.
Starmer, stop the boat. Well, I will be there very, very soon, along with all of you. Thank you for throwing this party. I can't wait until we really, really do this. And we're doing it for all of you. We're doing it for all of you. We're doing it for global security. We're doing it for all the right reasons. Right is on our side. Let's keep going. Thank you.
So this is a Mike Graham show exclusive.
That actually is good.
There,
I loved him having the drink
with the drink in his hand. And, nobody else, no other, there were other journalists there, but nobody was filming it. That is the only place you'll see it on this show. Okay. That's me. I never stopped working, Kelvin. Right?
Yeah, we never stopped drinking.
And that was after the earlier
okay,
video,
so
right?
I'm sure you were there, the Nigel Farage 60th. Jim Davison is the MC.
Yeah, brilliant.
And he says, Jim Davison gets the microphone, and he says, we've had a number of tributes to Nigel Farage, including one from President Biden. Would you like me to read it to you? And the crowd would go, yes. He goes, right, this is from President Biden to Jim Davidson, to Nigel Farage, and here is the message. Right, okay. Right.
Shortly before he fell over.
Right. So that gag had a mixed reception. Right. So there were those of us who were absolutely weeping.
Right.
And then I saw a lady who I think does the news for Sky News. I don't know why she was there. I have never seen. She looked as though she had literally sucked 20 lemons.
Oh dear. Well, because it was unfair to somebody who has disabilities.
After all, he's the president. You can't. It's not like Frankie Howard. I'm mocking the afflicted.
No, but you remember that footage of him walking behind the guy from the Navy, and he just literally fell flat on his face.
Yeah.
And you're going, how can you think that's okay? And one of the things that I really hold against Keir Starmer, before he got elected as Prime Minister, he went to see Biden. Do you remember? And he came back. It was about, I think, March or April of 2024. And he was asked, how did you find, Biden? What was he like? Oh, brilliant, absolutely fine. He's got all of his faculties. Absolutely fantastic man, very smart. Absolute bollocks, right? Yeah. Complete bollocks. Because clearly Biden was deteriorating
gaga anyway.
Literally before your very eyes.
However, how about this? How about an even worse analysis of that? Supposing actually Starmer couldn't recognise it. He was so used to being surrounded by dimwits that actually he thought that people going
it's like Morgan McSweeney. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. It's a bit like, and I know that I'll be in trouble for saying this, but again,
hold on a second.
Because
is this going to affect the number of people buying your licence?
No, I don't think it will.
Or do you think it'll increase the number?
They like the truth. Did you see the footage of the, or I don't know if we've got it actually, the footage of the MPs dancing in Parliament?
Yeah, I did see it.
Strictly, right?
Yeah.
Have we got that?
No.
No, we haven't, thanks.
I
Great.
can get it.
Do you know?
No, don't you worry, mate. You carry on.
It's that kind of research team that makes this £4.99. Have we got that common
But there's
dancing?
a woman.
No.
Right? No, there's a woman, and I don't wish to be unkind.
Oh, here you go.
Right?
It's going to be unkind alert.
Right, I don't wish to be unkind. Who's got something wrong with her arms, right? Hang on. She's got very small arms, right? And so sort of pterodactyl-like, or what do you T-Rex-like sort of arms, dancing behind the Speaker of the House, Lindsay Hoyle.
Yeah.
And you just go, why have you done that? You know, it's a bit like the conversation we had about with the Right Said Fred guys. Every time you now watch a TV drama, right, particularly if it's involving the police, like Vera or Silent Witness or that, there's a dwarf in it. They've all got dwarves, right? Because you have to have a dwarf.
Do you know what? I am in favour. I have my personal hiring area has actually been enhanced with the dwarfs that I've hired. So I hired. No, what? they're not called dwarfs anymore, are they?
I don't know.
Vertically challenged or something like that. Whatever.
Why did you hire dwarfs?
Right, because I ran a cable TV station, and we had the. In fact, you know what this is. We had a cable TV station, and we had the weather,
live TV,
weather, and we had a trampoline.
Right.
And their weather was called the bouncing weather dwarf, and he would bounce on the trampoline,
right.
And then he'd go in Brighton, it'll be 14, and boom, he'd go down again. In Birmingham, he'll be 22, right? But he never got to Scotland because the downward pressure of the weight couldn't get up like that.
There's barometric pressure, surely.
There is that. Anyway, eventually he fell off the trampoline. And then he got a bit angry, and so then we had to kind of have some kind of health and safety around it, just in case this happened again. He was a great guy,
really,
and he was enormously in debt to Nick Ferrari, who was the program director, for giving him work where other people wouldn't give him work.
Well, and we're going to go to Philip in a second because he's been waiting very patiently. But basically,
so I think we are an equal opportunity employer, and as part of your license fee, you guarantee to give a dwarf work or dwarves work. I mean, after all, they can't even be in pantos anymore.
No, because this is one of the things I was going to say. When they remade Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in Hollywood, they said, "Oh, we're not going to have dwarfs." Yeah, and they all went, "Hang on a minute, it's the only bloody work we get."
Well, it's actually called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
So now you have 7 of some other kind.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, In fact, let's do this before we speak to Philip Kiszely.
Yeah.
We've got a poll going on at the moment, right? Yeah. Because it's international. You probably know this. International Women's Day on.
Do you know what?
On Sunday.
I could hardly contain my excitement.
Yeah. So here's a question for you.
Okay. International Women, led by Chagos Islands.
Yeah. International Women's Day. Who would you prefer piloting your plane?
Yeah.
Right. 1, a woman. 2, a man.
Yeah.
3, a trans person.
Yeah.
Or 4, Stevie Wonder. The reason I asked this because I was listening again to Times Radio on the way in, as I tend to do, and they were being very serious, a lot of chin stroking. Why there's not enough women pilots, right? And all I can think of is, can you imagine the woman pilot backing up the plane? Oh, sorry, I seem to have crashed the plane into the terminal.
Can I just say that we are veering. We are veering into that kind of uncomfortable area which used to be run by Ofcom.
Yes.
But since they've been stuffed by GB News, they've gone back into their... look, I think the blatant sexism is an important aspect of the licence fee, of your licence fee.
Of my licence fee, absolutely.
So I tell you what you really need to do is to put together the I promise.
Yes.
I promise, boom, sexism, misogyny, dwarf embracing.
Yes, indeed.
The general things which are on the outside
which everyone's forgotten about, but they used to love. Right, let's talk to Philip Kiszely, because he's a man after our own hearts. I think I would suggest to you that he is, in fact, a philosopher king, right, in the old-fashioned sense. Philip, I mean, do you just, you know what I mean, don't you? When the women are in the plane, and they're backing it up, and they're going, left a bit, down a bit, right down a bit, and we seem to have hit the terminal. I'm sorry, it's just funny, isn't it?
The terminal's in the wrong place, Mike. My God, who put it there?
Yeah.
Can I just say I need a bouncing dwarf around here? I've got a very high bookshelf.
Yeah, I mean, how are you going to reach the top, the Chairman Mao book up the top of the right-hand side there, unless you've got a bouncing dwarf. But listen, we've got this idea, and I think it's a good one, that we do away with the BBC licence fee and we issue a new licence fee to people to watch the Mike Graham show. It's half the price and it's far more entertaining because the BBC is lost, isn't it?
Well, it's a no-brainer for me, and I think we could have. I was just watching the footage. I didn't want to actually come on because I was enjoying the conversation so much. I was just enjoying your footage on the boat there, and you were giving what I think should be the Mike Graham show salute.
Yeah. Two-fingered salute, yes.
Starmer, I think we should make it a thing. You know. Don't be a Plonk here. Oh, I can't even get. I'm doing a female driver thing now.
There you go.
I can't even get my Mancunian victory sign on the on the screen there. I think the BBC was lost decades ago, and we're saddled with this regressive tax. Literally everybody hates it, apart from 10 people who work with blue hair and short fringes who work in the public sector.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that's we're paying this regressive tax just solely for their entertainment and for them to be miserable and lord it above us. I think the independent media and various other aspects of the newer media have just destroyed the BBC. It used to be, which is actually quite tragic to me, because it used to be something worthwhile, and you only have to look at the archive on iPlayer to see what it used to be like. It's, you know, it's almost like a bit like a bullseye. You know, look what you could have won, look what you used to have.
Yeah.
And now it's an absolute travesty. Not only is it a travesty, it pushes an agenda which is anti-British and anti-working class and anti-everybody, really. I mean, just a couple of things very quickly, Mike. The anti-Semitism is just off the scale.
Yes.
You know, they're producing documentaries that have relatives of Hamas officials narrating them.
Right.
They've got some lunatic, half-naked lunatic jumping around the stage shouting death, death, death to the IDF at Glastonbury. And Glastonbury's another one as well. I'm sure we all hate Glastonbury.
Yeah.
But it's the comedy, right? So the comedy is dead. There is no comedy on the BBC. It's anathema to them, you know. And the only comedies they seem to produce are trans comedies, you know, which is innately just not funny. And there is a great comedy out there. It's just not on television anymore. It's on channels like this and on shows like you. A big plug for Intel Lady here, I think is superb.
Yes, she's great.
I think she's doing stuff with you, isn't she? And Andrew Lawrence is another one. Just brilliant, really superb humour. And you had that woman, I can't remember what her name was, but I think she had some disability. She was saying, look, you know, this is me. You're only allowed to laugh at me. You're not allowed to laugh at people who are funny, particularly men.
Right.
So you're not allowed to laugh at Ricky
Oh,
Gervais.
this is the female comedian who's got cerebral palsy. And they put her on Radio 4, and you can't hear what she's saying because she can't. What's her name?
Rosie Jones.
Rosie Jones, yeah. And you can't hear what she's like. And you go, why are you on the radio? You know, at least put her on the telly so you can actually try and lip read the bloody woman. You know. Kelvin's now appalled by.
Can I say that sympathetic analysis of somebody suffering from a serious health issue is making the best of herself is probably something that I may have to report to Ofcom myself.
Well, I was.
Yeah, but that's the sort of po-faced bollocks that's got us where we are.
Well, you know. I was just going to say it's a good job I've already been cancelled because it would be in the post for Monday morning, wouldn't it? You know?
Well, me too. You know, I mean, Jeremy Kyle used to say to me, he said, like, I've been cancelled already. I don't really care what happens next. You know, that's the point. What are they going to do? He goes, oh, Mike Graham was impersonating Rosie Jones and making out that she sounds like a moron. Yeah, well, because she does. Sorry.
Actually, Mike Graham was being funny, and that is the worst thing you can possibly be. You're not allowed to be funny. I mean, it's the same as all the other stuff that's happening at the moment. So I was looking at a story this week about you're not allowed to use certain words in the workplace and to advertise.
Oh,
jobs.
yes, yeah, like masculine words, right?
Yeah. So, but the words, they were framed as masculine, but the words were things like independent and ambitious.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So you're not allowed to be independent. You're not allowed to be ambitious. You just have to be adequate. You're only allowed to turn up vaguely at 9 o'clock on Monday morning and be adequate and half decent. job. So what they're actually doing is like the BBC with comedy. You know, you're not allowed to be funny because that's ambitious and independent. You're not allowed to have a work ethic. You're not allowed to want to get somewhere. And so what they're doing is by banishing those concepts and those behaviours, they're filling that vacuum with the opposite.
Yes.
And what we get, like the BBC, again, is just this nonsense of filling the vacuum with obsessions about things which are nothing to do with the primary purpose of the organisation. Obsessions about LGBTQI plus bloody nonsense, you know, race nonsense, sexuality, and all of that kind of thing. And we're obsessing about these things, and all of this stuff holding us back.
It's like the tyranny of mediocrity, is what I call it, you know, and which brings me on to, I don't know if you've seen this story in the Times today, Oxfam, right? An organisation best known for molesting children, it has to be said, right? They've got shops in the high street. I've never been in one of them for years because of the horrible...
I thought you dressed there.
Ghastly... I used to buy clothes from there, yeah.
I'm astonished that any of them fitted you.
Thank you very much indeed. This is when I was younger, obviously. They now have to come out, and this is the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever seen Oxfam doing. They now say they've drawn up plans for transformation, right? Which means that they are no longer going to be involved in emergency relief work. They're stepping back from emergency relief work, which is what they're supposed to be doing, in order to become influencers on climate change, gender, and inequality. So now when you go into an Oxfam shop and buy yourself a jacket for the dinner party you're going to tomorrow night, it's not going to be helping any poor kids in Africa or the Caribbean or South America. You're going to be helping them to push the gender equality scenario.
Well, it's classic. That represents everything, doesn't it? Well, first of all, they were the most appalling, toxic, sexist, racist organization you could ever wish to. You know, but people still cleaved to them, didn't they? You get all of these old. My ex-mother-in-law was one, actually. You get all of these old Corbynista type. I'm sure she's not watching this. I'm all right.
That's good. Yeah. No, she's probably not a fan. No.
No. Strictly BBC. You get all of these smelly old Corbynista types, wouldn't you? You know, with their hand-knitted clothes and straight off anti-Semitic rallies and pro-Iranian, worshipping the Ayatollah. That's the latest thing now, you know, tears for Hitler, getting back off all of that kind of stuff, and going into Oxfam and still thinking that it's this great thing that possibly it was at one time. I'm not sure, but people don't have an eye on how this country has changed, even though those people are really driving change. Some of those people, you know, the older public sector types, they actually don't realize that now we are practically living in an Islamist country that certainly our Prime Minister is so weak, so pathetic, so puerile that he is influenced by this Islamist lobby, and Oxfam and all of those pathetic organisations are just part of that broader scene, aren't they? It's all the same thing, right? So if you're obsessed about trans, you're going to be obsessed about Islamism. You're going to support Hamas. You're going to hate Britain. You're going to hate the West. You're going to be a green communist, and you're going to bow down to Islam. So all of that stuff is changing massively, and you only have to walk down the high street to see it. Oxfam is a really, really good example, but so are the, the weed smoking, dirty immigrants who cannot speak English, who are unemployed. This is I'm being an
this
academic
is brilliant.
here.
This is brilliant.
Study. All you have to do is walk down the road into the city centre there.
It is extraordinary. Well, how about this, right? You'll enjoy this. The Times have spoken to a senior manager of Oxfam in Oxford, who says
Oxford Jail.
We are at a pivotal juncture in our history. We must reimagine our role, not as a dominant actor, but as an enabler of change, from implementing to platforming, from organisation to movement. And this is a bit like Starmer, isn't it? Starmer's now stands...
Probably bowel movement.
Right, bowel movement, Starmer now stands in front of a microphone and talks about, you know, I will not be leaving my job that I was elected to do because I wish to change Britain. We don't want you to change Britain, you complete and utter bastard. We want you to actually leave Britain alone, right?
Well, actually, you know about Oxfam, right? So there's a journalist and a publisher called John Blake.
Oh, I know John.
I was surprised, right? So he was like a show business writer. Yeah. He became a publisher, and he seemed to do reasonably well. Yeah. So I had a book, and I went to see him, and he said, "Oh yeah, it'll be a huge success." Right. I said, "Well, don't you want to read it?" He said, "I made a very firm decision when I became a publisher, not to read any manuscripts," and
very wise.
At that, I decided that he may not be the right guy for this treasured work of mine.
And have you managed to get it published elsewhere?
Anyway, no is the answer. Nobody is interested. And quite right. There was some interest in my second wife. She was interested in it, but I had to put that to one side. Right. So he goes into Oxfam and he buys a very nice white tuxedo jacket. Yeah. And wears it for his wedding last year. Okay. And very proudly told us all in his wedding speech. Right. And I wondered whether
he's actually been married more times than you, hasn't he?
I don't think he has actually. No? But it's not a competition. It's just the way that it's just the way that love works, right? And
I've never experienced it, to be honest.
That does come as a surprise. That does come as a surprise to me. But so I wondered whether the fact that he was shopping in Oxfam for his wedding suit was linked in any way to the fact that he was a publisher who'd never read a manuscript in 25 years.
Very possibly so.
And I wonder whether those two facts might be linked.
Yes. But I mean, sorry, Philip, just before I let you to take over again, it's very indicative to me of the way we are now as a society where, you know, the things that you thought were, you know, static and sort of, I don't know, irreversibly kind of to be relied upon, like Oxfam as a charity. So if you really wanted to help out the the forlorn kids of the third world, you'd go and buy something in Oxfam. Now, you're not going to be helping the kids of the third world. You're going to be helping some, you know, bloke in a dress in Chelmsford, you know, who wants to be recognised as a gender-neutral individual.
Yeah, I think it's, if you think about what's happened to Britain over the last 30 or 40 years, a gender-neutral individual, you know, who wants to come out as look at me, some 45-year-old bloke finding his feminine side because he spent too much time. Well, a lot of this stuff comes from lockdown, doesn't it? So we had this crazy kind of spiral into insanity, didn't we? Which started with the Me Too movement, then went through BLM. Yeah. Then in lockdown, everyone went insane. They were locked on their computers for a year. And what you got was a load of middle-aged blokes stuck with pornography for a year, and then coming out the other end of it thinking they were women. And then on top of that,
that's the downside. The downside of pornography.
Yeah, it's the greatest explanation of what's gone wrong.
Certain elements of pornography obviously make you do that. And then
you say so.
And then after that it's Hamas, and then now it's worshipping the bloody Ayatollah, for God's sake. So what's happened in this country? It's a combination of tragedy and farce, isn't it? And I think that's a really important point, because the best way to cope with it, this is one of the, you know, this is the last half an hour before I came on, has just been superb for me, because we've been laughing at it. Yeah. And sometimes not always easy to do. And maybe the biggest, you know, I was going to say the biggest weapon we've got there. Obviously, I've been watching it. But the best strategy,
or the smallest weapon with Mike,
we can have, the best pushback we can have, is to laugh at these idiots, because that's what we used to do. That's the British way. That's the other thing. The thing that's gone by the wayside is the British way. The fact that, you know, we look at this absurdity. We've become silly, frivolous, and stupid. But the society's become dangerous because of it as well. Yeah. I think one of the things we should do is laugh at this bloody nonsense and show people that the British people feel contempt for it. We feel contempt for these people. That's very important.
Absolutely. Philip, brilliant to see you.
Good to
Great
see you.
to
Good
chat.
to see you,
Thank
mate.
you very much indeed. Enjoy the weekend and continue to laugh. I had a great one the other day, right? And again,
great what?
A story to tell you from my personal trainer who was talking about another guy.
Can I just ask you?
Yeah.
I mean, you are not a great advert for him, are you?
I disagree.
No, you
he
see.
would say.
No, what do you mean?
I
disagree. Well, I imagine the running machine. The running machine has to be reinforced.
But you've forgotten how fat I was, right? Well, if you look at old pictures of me, right, from when I was
I'm
on
looking at a pretty old picture of you right now.
Well, I mean, if you think I'm fat now, you should wait. I mean, literally have a look at back a year ago, right? How about this, right?
Yeah.
So he tells me a story about not him, but another guy.
Yeah.
He gets a new client.
Yeah.
Right. Woman turns up. And until that moment, they've only sort of encountered each other online.
Yeah.
Right. And they pay 100 quid at the time, right?
Right.
The woman turns up, clearly a bloke.
Right.
Right. And in the sort of application form, it asks you to kind of delineate your gender.
Yeah.
Gender is put down as a female.
Yeah.
Now, when you're dealing with people who are trying to improve their health or cut down on certain calorie intakes and all of that, you need to treat people differently, whether they're men or women.
Yeah.
And he said this guy, his mate, doesn't know what to do because you can't ask the woman in question, "Are you actually a bloke?" Because that would be potentially, illegal.
Yeah, under the Don't Ask the Blokes Act. Yeah.
He said clearly got an Adam's apple, clearly a bloke, tall, strong, muscular.
Attractive.
Wants to use the women's changing room.
Oh, right. That is difficult.
Suddenly, you're in a really, really bad place.
Yeah.
Because everyone's too frightened to say, you can't do that. You're going to have to, change somewhere else. It's a real problem.
And so how is it resolved?
Well, it hasn't been resolved as of yet.
I know that Michelle Dewberry, who I go on her...
I like Dubes. She's good.
I totally agree. She
has to put up with Simon Jordan as her partner, but apart from that,
Actually, I don't mind Simon.
No, I like Simon.
He's got
I'm joking.
a view.
Simon's a good guy.
He's got a view.
No, Simon's a great guy.
So she was at a Virgin gym where suddenly there is clearly a bloke changing in the women's changing room.
In a leotard.
Right. Yeah, And she goes to the management there and says, "This isn't right. This is a women's changing room."
Because it's not right.
And they say, under our terms, basically you can go into whichever changing room you
That's
feel.
ridiculous.
Right. Okay.
Isn't that ridiculous?
So, really? And he said, that's it. And basically indicated, if that's a problem to you, Michelle,
you should leave.
Yeah, time to leave.
So it's her problem.
Okay.
Right.
Michelle, though, made of sterner stuff in Hull.
Yes.
Than the collection of wussies down in London, says, really? Okay, well, let me just see what publicity does to all this decision. Okay? And they say, they trot out at the beginning, this is our position. Right. And then the heat goes on. Right. The heat goes on.
She mentions it on her show, presumably.
No, I don't think she does, actually, but does it on X or wherever.
Okay.
Anyway, and then starts indicating, well, let's go to court and see how this plays out in the light of the and what the justices have already said. Suddenly they say, yeah, okay, you're right, we're not doing it this way.
So then they have another problem, though, because then they have to go to the bloke and say, you can't go into the women's changing room. Yeah. And then he suddenly decides to have some kind of legal issue. It's a real minefield.
It is a nightmare. It is a nightmare. But you can be straightforward about it. Yeah. But you're right. You have to take the consequences, and you can end up with a huge legal bill, whatever you do.
Yeah, it is an absolute nightmare. We're nearly at the end of the show. We've got some super chats, I think, to do. Have we, Charlotte?
Yes.
Pooch is still here, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah.
Why is he hanging around? I mean, has he not got? What is that for you? Is that for you personally?
He's just here to try and lighten the hospitality quotient. Ralphie says this super chat, just had to post this in respect to the crack going on there. Thank you very much indeed. That's a bit of an Irish word. John says, 40,000 quid to leave the UK. Where do I sign up?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a load of people who've said that this morning, saying, you know, if you could give me 40,000 quid, I'll quite happily bugger off to Zambia or wherever and then come back. Pear character holding his belly, laughing out loud. I get this a lot, and apparently it's describing some kind of emoji. Yeah. What is that? Simon, by the way, sends us money every show.
Well, I tell you what, could you direct it towards me? Yeah. Mike's doing rather well at the moment.
Kelvin needs a bit of money because he's moving house, I think, soon. Graham the Mike Show, sort it out. What are you talking about? Look, the sign is there, right?
No, this is not good enough.
What?
And this is why you probably need a new managing director. Or I think it's time that Pooch, who has other commercial interests.
He does.
And I think the Mike Graham show lit up there was the best thing about the show.
It was great. Because when we started, we didn't have it. When it arrived, I think in week 2, we were so elated. But we can't explain why it suddenly stopped working. And neither can the people that made the sign. We don't understand, do we, Pooch? I mean, they can't tell us.
But can you fix it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if
we have to send it back to them, and they're going to fix it.
And where are they?
I don't know. Where are they, Pooch?
In London.
In London. Okay.
Well, look, we're in London.
Can they not just come and pick it up? How about this from Bright Spark? Please call out happy birthday to Carol, 63 on Sunday. Have a great weekend.
Sing for her.
Hey?
Sing.
Sing what?
Happy birthday.
No. I mean, I could do.
How? Let's get this right. They send money.
Yeah.
What, literally send money?
Yeah.
Why?
Because then they get their message read out. Because it's like the system that we have here.
Yeah.
Like, for example, one here from Simon Mendoza. They're a female. See, when it gets lit up like that, right? So it means that they get priority.
Okay.
It says there are female pilots in the skies of Iran, but only after going through exactly the same grueling training as the men. Fine. So it's called a super chat. So people will pay money. It pumps the message to the front.
And where does the money go?
Into the YouTube account.
Into
basically into my pocket.
Into your wallet.
Yeah.
Right, I must get in on this.
Kelvin's now very surprised by this.
Well, I'm going to do an entire
Here's
show.
A good one, right? Front side busters. Right, this is great. Can you ask Kelvin if he's forgiven Hugh Whitto for losing Blackie the donkey?
No, I haven't.
Hugh Whitto, who is one of the most famous journalists that worked at The Sun under Kelvin's regime. He was the news editor, but he was also a sort of chief reporter for a while, wasn't he? And he was Welsh.
Yeah.
Hugh Whitto, and he thought of himself very much of a ladies' man. Do you remember he had a chat-up line, didn't he? You know,
I don't know.
Which he used to say to every woman that he met, which apparently was quite successful. And he would say something like, "I've done it all, you see. I've done it all." And they'd go, "What do you mean?" And he'd go, "I've done it all. I've done wars.
Do you know what?
I've done.
I can't believe that there are women out there who are going to say, "You've done it all. Let's get into bed together." Yeah. I mean, what a ridiculous idea!
Well, it is extraordinary. I was once in the old Joe Allen's.
Oh yes.
Before they moved to a new place, which is hopeless, by the way.
Terrible.
Right?
I've been in there.
But the old place, and I remember standing there, and I was with the mother of my children.
By the way, go to Balthazar.
Balthazar's good, yeah.
Yeah, Balthazar's good.
That's good, yeah. Funnily enough, I don't go to Covent Garden much anymore, you know?
I was there last night. Absolutely
Balthazar's good, yeah, I like it. Very New Yorky. It's got. They've modelled it on the New York one, haven't they? And I was paying the bill. I was leaving to get my coat, and suddenly I heard this voice behind me, and it was Hugh Whitto, and it was when he'd become, by this stage, editor of the Daily Express, which, as you quite rightly used to describe as on the luge to nowhere, where the circulation was going down so fast, it was like...
Do you know what? I suggested to Whitto that the way to save his job was to take that graph, which was going like that, and just turn it upside down.
Yes.
So that it looks as though it was going up.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And he goes, "I have to think about that, boy."
Yeah. I've done it all, you see.
Yeah, I've done it all.
I've done it all.
I've wrecked every paper I've ever been on.
It's true.
I've destroyed everything.
Peter Pace used to say that. He said, he said, in my career as a journalist, he said, I've lost more circulation than anyone in the world. He said, I think...
I tell you who's got that prize now. The lady who runs The Sun.
Yes, Victoria Newton.
I mean, there are literally millions...
They've gone so far down the gurgler,
they've gone down,
they don't even tell you.
Actually, funnily enough...
They won't tell you how badly sales go.
No, but funnily enough... I like it, actually, now. I don't mind the paper, but nobody's going to buy it. What I don't like is their online offering.
Yes.
Which is
rubbish.
Complete tosh.
It's rubbish. How about this, right? This is great. This is a card. It says, is it a heron, is it a crane, or is it a stork?
Yeah, good question.
And then it says, delivering Mike's sack, right?
Oh, dear.
And then it says, hi, Mike, sending you a belated present for Ziggy's birthday. We love the show. You keep us sane, although I was so excited to see you in Waitrose. I was like a mad woman. I was down in Waitrose in Greenwich the other day, right? And 2 women recognised me, one on the way in and one on the way out. And I presume this is Linda.
Are they your creditors?
David and Linda. Now, neither one of them had a white stick, by the way. I want you to know that. And here's the present. Let's see what
that's
it is.
rather nice. Let's open that up.
Oh, do you know what it is? Because I couldn't get these. It's sardines for Ziggy. Because, do you remember I said that they stopped selling sardines? You couldn't find them. Sustainable sardines.
Oh,
brilliant.
That's essential Waitrose as well.
Yeah.
Which supermarket were you in Greenwich?
In Waitrose.
Oh, it was in a Waitrose.
There is a Waitrose in Greenwich, just as you go in sort of from the north.
Does anybody go in there? They're mainly skint in Greenwich, aren't they?
No, you must be joking. No, they come down from Blackheath.
Oh, do they?
Where your brother used to live.
And I used to live there.
Did you?
I used to live on that estate.
In fact, Ferrari used to live there. I don't know if he still does he?
Ferrari.
He used to live up Maze Hill,
well,
didn't he?
no, actually, Ferrari claims he lives in Blackheath. But actually, when I actually then looked up the road he was
Deptford.
in, no, it wasn't, but it was in Lewisham.
Oh, yeah.
And I said to him, that's SE13,
yes,
not SE3.
I used to do this.
And Ferrari said to me, it's in the Blackheath Conservation District.
Oh, really?
Which I thought was a good answer.
That isn't bad. I used to have the same problem when I first, because I was born and raised in Hampstead, right? My dad wasn't particularly wealthy, but Hampstead in those days was quite a sort of bohemian place. And I was born at the top of Hampstead Heath by the Whitestone Pond, where Evelyn Wall was also born. It's no longer there, but it was a maternity hospital. And when I was sort of in my early 20s, and my sister and I were looking for flats to rent, and in those days, you had to always do like company lets, because they wouldn't let you do it any other way.
Yeah.
And you'd get these poxy, estate agents going, oh, yes, we've got this very nice 2-bedroom apartment, very well managed and superbly located. And I'd go, right, OK, where's that then? It's NW2. And I'd go, that's Cricklewood. It's not Hampstead. Well, it's Hampstead Environs.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Hampstead Slopes.
Hampstead Environs. And like my father used to describe West Hampstead as British West Hampstead.
God.
Because that's what it was like in those days, and hilarious. But, there we are. Tales of the unexpected. How about this from Mr. Gillespie? My last shat went through when the show ended. What does that mean? Done over. What does that mean? What is that?
Men from yesterday or something.
SCHAT. Oh dear. Mike, can you wish my 80-year-old mum Kathleen best wishes? She's currently in hospital after a fall and is missing you so much. Yes, absolutely. Kathleen, a very happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
80 years of age. Brilliant. I hope you feel better soon. And hopefully the NHS, don't do anything to make you feel actually even worse. Super chat from David. Mike, it's been ages since you've given us a good old rat impression. Yeah, well, I mean, if you live in Birmingham, there you go. There's a rat impression. It's been a great week, by the way. In fact, I should probably check to see whether we've hit through the £10 million and 10 million view barrier. Because if we haven't done it yet, we'll be doing it literally within the next few hours. But it's been an incredible week. We've had some incredible guests. Kelvin's been here twice, and will have some announcements to make, I think, soon. Will we not, about what we're about to do together?
Yeah. The main thing we're going to do is we're going to hire an electrician to fix the Mike Graham show. I mean, honestly, Pooch, it's time to go, mate.
Listen, without Pooch, right, this entire endeavour would never have happened.
Can I
so
tell
I'm
you,
not going to have any of that. I cannot have that.
No, I don't buy that. There are loads of Pooches out there. He is an expensive version.
Yes, absolutely right. This from my daughter in Dubai. Who says this is really annoyed me? It's upset me. I'm trying to work out in the gym. She's just got an emergency alert, which is written in Arabic and English. Due to current situation and potential missile threat, seek immediate shelter in the closest secure building, and please stay away from any windows, doors, and open areas. And she's just sent me a message going, "How rude." Disrupted my workout, because that's how people are in Dubai. And she said this to me the other day. There are some people, like the Independent today, is trying to make out that there's panic in Dubai.
Yeah.
Nobody is panicking. They're
panicking.
literally having a great time.
Well, they're not allowed to panic either.
Well, no. But she also said to me, she said the traffic's disappeared. She said it used to take her half an hour to get to work. She gets there in 10 minutes. She's very happy.
Does she go by missile?
Well, do you know what happened? She was in Goa, right, with her partner for a holiday, and she went to they decided, because she works for CNBC, the TV company in America, they said, why don't you go work in Singapore, because they've got a big hub in Singapore. So she goes to Mumbai airport from Goa to get onto a plane to go to Singapore. She gets there and they say, oh, look, there's an Emirates flight to Dubai. And so she rings me up, she goes, oh, there's an Emirates. I said, I'm going to get on that. I said, are you sure? I said, are you sure it's safe? She said, well, we've checked with security people, we've checked with the airline, Emirates Airlines, they're saying it's fine. They get to half an hour outside of Dubai, and the pilot comes on and goes, there's been a missile alert, so I'm afraid we're going to have to turn back. And I'm going, what? You know, she's my only daughter, right? I've got 3 other kids.
How old is she?
She's 36,
right.
Well, 35. Brilliant woman, brilliant, absolutely amazing.
Can I ask you this? Why doesn't she go to Singapore by another route?
Well,
is she going to?
No,
now?
she was going back to Dubai.
Oh, she was going back there.
Because she wanted to go back to Dubai. I said to her, just go to Singapore for a few days and let it all calm down a bit, you know. She's like, no, got the chance to go back to Dubai. My team's there. She's the bureau chief, right? And she didn't tell me this at the time, but then they turned the plane around. They said, we're going to go back to Mumbai. And they go back for about 20 minutes, and then the guy comes on again and goes, oh, actually, we're going to land.
Oh, right.
And she looks out the window, and there's 2 fighter jets escorting the plane.
No.
Into Dubai airport. And I'm going, I mean, I've been in war zones, so I don't care about myself, but you care about your kids, you know.
Well, you'd be a pretty big target in the war
Thank you very
zone.
much indeed.
Yeah,
Kelvin can always be relied upon to insult you at your weakest moments.
No, to be supportive.
Yeah. But I was just like, crikey.
Yeah.
But she was so sweet. And her poor boyfriend he's an architect, right? He's got none of this kind of, mad Graham kind of, craziness about him.
In the DNA.
He's still sleeping it off. He's been asleep for about 3 days.
So look out the window.
Trying to get over the shock of it all, But amazing. But so everyone in Dubai literally is going, we're not leaving. I mean, I spoke to Isabel Oakeshott the other day, and she's like, no, it's great. She said, why would we leave? Why would we come back to Britain? It's still safer than Britain.
Well, the other reason she doesn't come back here is because Richard Tice is here.
Well, that's the other reason. Yeah, exactly right. Although I've been invited to their wedding. They're getting married.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
when?
in October.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, in Parliament.
I tell you what you should do.
Yeah.
You should definitely do a video out of that.
I should.
And
what,
also
before I've had 4 glasses of the bubbly.
No, do it at different times during the evening. So finally, and this is the greatest wedding I've ever been in.
It's true. Listen, more messages before we go. It's 9:01, yeah, so we have to, because we've got to do the Plonk of the Week here. Oliver's here, and as is Chris Walkie. Super chat from Mrs. A. This is the best show. It makes me late for work every day. The chat on YouTube is brilliant as well. Please leave Pooch alone, Kelvin.
He can look after himself. He's dressed as though he's going to run the Bank of England today.
I would not cross Pooch, right?
Would you not?
No, I've seen him in action before, and
he's a tough hombre.
He's a tough hombre. Yeah. You don't want to mess with him.
I'm desperately sorry, Pooch, for upsetting you.
Brilliant. You don't get many words for £2. Shat equals super chat. What? I still don't know what he's talking about. What? So super chat is shortened to shat. S-chat. Oh, okay.
I love this idea.
That.
What happens if you say you've got to write an intelligent one and it's going to cost you £15?
Well, people send in.
I love this idea.
It's a great idea. You should just set one up at home.
Oh, no, I'm going to.
Ring you. Get your ex-wives to continue. Ringing you up going, here's another £20, Kelvin.
Oh, no.
Would you mind leaving me alone? Never calling me.
Yeah, it's another £2,000.
Yeah, brilliant. Listen, great to see you. We'll see you next week, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you to all of you for listening. It's been an incredible week, as I say. Let me actually, while I'm here, let me just check.
How did you do today?
Let's have a look.
Going well today or not?
Let's have a look. And now analytics, right? 10 million. We're there. Hey! 10 million views, ladies and gentlemen. We got 826,000 likes, 21.4 thousand shares, 70.5 thousand comments. Recent views in the last week alone, 962.9 thousand.
That's very good.
In a week.
How many uniques?
I don't know.
Well, I'm just asking a technical question.
I'm a journalist, I don't,
Correct.
Kelvin thinks he's a commercial enterprise manager, He's actually not. Anyway, listen, great to see you all. Thank you very much. And we'll see you back on tonight, actually, Plank of the Week.
Mike, we're still
what?
live. We're doing Plonk's live.
Oh, what, you mean I shouldn't say goodbye?
No,
right.
We're going to go to the news.
Sorry. See, this is why Pooch is worth his weight in gold. Because he's just reminded me that
worth his weight in suits.
We haven't actually finished the show. We got another half an hour to go.
Do you know what? This is very similar to Newsnight, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Only a lot cheaper.
Wouldn't that be fantastic if Newsnight halfway through it said we've decided to sort out these
some sardines,
Sauvignon Blanc, and we're a bit worried about that Rioja.
Yeah.
And by the way, and then suddenly she gets stuck into it. And they start giving it.
And suddenly, somebody messages in again. I've got some chat messages for you.
Exactly. Can you say hello to my mother?
That's why.
If you did do that, the row about it would send ratings off the dial.
They would never get better numbers. This is why we're doing so well, because nobody does what we do.
Right, come on, Mackenzie.
That's because they're bad.
Right, we've got to go.
Okay,
otherwise we're going to get in trouble.
Thank you for everybody.
The news is coming up with Edward Hughes. And don't message anybody while you're doing it, and keep your trousers on. This is the Mike Show.
An important statement.
Good morning, I'm Edward Hughes. The escalating Middle East conflict dominates UK headlines today, with Prime Minister Keir Starmer insisting the protection of over 130,000 British nationals in the region remains the government's top priority amid ongoing US and Israeli strikes on Iran and Iranian retaliatory actions. The UK has allowed limited US use of British bases, but is not directly joining offensive operations. Defence Secretary John Healey confirmed the UK's terror threat level is under active review following the strikes, while Foreign Secretary concerns grow over risks to UK troops and civilians. President Trump has publicly criticised Starmer's approach, calling him no Winston Churchill and straining transatlantic ties. Elsewhere, Chancellor Richard III highlighted inflation forecasts averaging 2.3% for 2026, though growth projections were downgraded. In sports, and Arsenal extended their Premier League lead with a win over Brighton. More details throughout the day. Laters Tigers.
Hey, I'm on. Oh, here we are, and we're back. I'm still opening things, by the way. This is nice. This is from, and I must apologise because there are some moments when I open things up and I thank the wrong people, because there's a thing called Etsy, right? Which apparently is a sort of a delivery company or something where you can order things from. Is it a website, do you think?
Marketplace.
A marketplace. It's a marketplace, according to Charlotte. And apparently, occasionally I thank the person who's kind of not given me the present. I thank the Etsy marketplace people. But this is from Debbie and Keith in the HS2 beleaguered Midlands. It says, to Mike, thank you for the constant chortles and morale-boosting content before the workday grind. Please find enclosed, in addition to your Herinalia collection, very good, and it says, we watch the show from 7 o'clock until 7:50 and eagerly watch the remainder on returning from work. The best content that's out there, and a huge thank you to your team and guests. So that's obviously for Pooch, and for Charlotte, and for Chris Walkie, who's just joined me to do Plonk of the Week. And she sent me a very nice, do you know, you don't get these very often, a tie clip.
Oh, no, you don't see those, do you? No,
with a heron on it. That's lovely.
Blimey, you'd be in full kit soon.
Giftshop.uk.com. In fact, I wore, for Plonk of the Week, which we recorded yesterday, I wore a heron, one of the heron ties that I've got.
You had two of those, didn't you? So
I've got several now. There's one here, which I haven't even opened. So yeah, listen, and we're really grateful. And as I said, 10 million views.
10 million.
Which
wow.
is really something.
It was 130,000 away this morning. I thought, we may get it done this afternoon.
Yeah,
but bang.
That's what I thought. I thought tonight maybe we'd get it.
Straight in, 10 million.
Straight in, 10 million. Absolutely brilliant. So thank you to all of you. Anyway, welcome back to the Home of Common Sense.
Yes, lovely to be here, as always.
And
great.
What are we doing today? What have you got for us?
Well, we're going to be tasting some wine, funny enough.
Yeah, no, I know that. But, you know, can you be a bit more specific?
Well, we've got a theme of quintessentially English. So what I've done is I've selected a few labels that are really kind of Englishy in their name.
Right.
And the first one's going to be a Pinot Noir Rosé Bowler and Brolly.
Oh, I like a Pinot Noir.
Ah.
Oliver, listen, come on, man.
Oh.
You've started, you know.
He's only just started and he's dripping it already.
He's already dripped something on
This is the under £10 wine, and this is £8.99 from Aldi. It was £10.99 and it's down on promotion. So
yes.
Again, we've got the Bowler and the Brolly. I'm quite sure many people would see this as being a little bit English, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is English, as I said, Lime Bay
That's
Winery
nice.
from
That's
Devon.
really nice. From Devon.
Yeah.
Very nice. I like it. Bowler and Brolly. Good
It's
name.
only $8.99.
That's not bad, is it?
So it's not too bad. 11.5.
It's got quite a lot of nice structure to it as well, doesn't it? It's kind of.
It's needed.
By
first
the way,
thing in the morning.
apologies for not having Anna here today, but
I know. It's
we thought that 2 weeks in a row of her getting pissed.
She needed recovery.
she needed a bit
She
of
needed a
recovery.
bit of recovery,
She was meant to
yeah.
come in, but she had something else going on. So
no problem. Well, I'm sure she'll be back again with us soon. So yeah, very nice
that
Pinot
is
Noir.
lovely. I like that.
Very delicate.
I should be taking that one home
certainly
I've,
can
I've
do,
just
sir.
run out. I
And-
finished the last bottle last night.
Did you now? That's got a
yeah.
screw cap, so it's nice and easy to
Easy.
take back.
Brilliant.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
You're going
very
to try
nice.
some, Oliver? It's kind of orangey colour, isn't it? It is rosy, but it's got a tint of orange to it.
You know what? I actually rather like it. I was drinking rosé last night. I was on the Tattershall Castle. You know, the boat on the
Tattershall,
Thames.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit insipid. It was nice. It was a Provençal.
Okay,
but it was
yeah.
a bit light.
Yeah.
Whereas this is the kind of rosé that I like because it's got a bit
Provençal would be really
more.
light
It's got
pink.
a bit more to it.
Yeah,
You know, a
yeah.
bit more body.
Well, I think Provençal is lovely, but it's more of a baby pink colour, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Yeah, that is great.
That is very, very nice.
Absolutely great.
So yeah, 10 million. That is fantastic, isn't it? 10 million views on your channel. That's incredible.
I know.
Really.
I know.
Such-
We were out, as I say, last night. Well, I was out last night with some people in Westminster, and everyone was just going, "We can't believe how well you're doing.
Yeah.
Can't believe it." And they're all watching it. They're all loving it.
Yeah.
And it's the talk of the town.
I think you've got such a mixture of personalities coming on as well and speaking with you. They
And
all help.
We've got Jacob Rees-Moggs coming back on next week. We've got
Is
Esther
he?
McVeigh coming in. We've got Sarah Poachin from Reform. We've got Robert Jenrick coming in probably
Robert
next
Jenrick,
week.
okay, yeah,
I
interesting.
met his spad last night, and he's like, Robert really wants to come on. I'm like, great, let's do it. So it's all happening.
No, that's the main. It's the place to be in the morning.
It's the only place.
This
to
is
be.
the old like TVAM or
It's
whatever it
literally
was
the only
years ago.
place to be, and if it's not happening here, it's not.
It's not happening anywhere
You know
else.
what I mean?
Yeah. So there we go. Here's our first wine, and it's the under £10 wine. I don't know if we've shown that up on the screen. It was $10.99.
Oh, what the bottle? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Let me hold it up
It's a
there.
nice Englishy kind of.
How about that? There.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
it, Mike.
is that good?
Yeah, good now. What's it called again?
It's called it's Bowler and Brolly is the mark, but it's basically just called English Pinot Noir Rosé.
From Lime Bay Winery. Lime Bay Winery at Axminster.
It's lovely. It's
in
really
Devon.
nice. It's the nicest rosé I've had in a while, actually.
It's nice and fresh. It's nice and chilled. Type of thing. 'Cause it's a nice
Totally.
warm studio, and then we're chilling down a little bit.
Yeah.
So we've started with the Bowler and Brolly. We're going to go to another kind of English-themed name here.
Okay.
We've got from High Clangdon. We've got their Shakespearean Cuvée Prestige 2019.
And where is this from?
This is
Geographically?
Geographically. Very good question. And I don't have that
Oliver
information
might be
here.
able to look on the back of the
Shamefully,
bottle and
I
see.
don't have that information here.
Does it say? Is it Sussex?
Where's High Clangdon?
Surrey.
Surrey, okay.
There you
Sorry,
go.
I usually got them all down.
That's
It's High
the
Clangdon.
Pooch neck
Oh,
of
no,
the
it's
woods.
down the road from me.
Is it really?
Yes, near Guildford.
Do you
Wow,
know? Do you
okay.
know the vineyard?
Yeah, I
then?
do.
Ah, okay.
Oh, he knows more than us already then. You might have tasted it already, Pooch. So it's a Shakespearean Cuvée 2019, 4 years of aging in the bottle. Classic champagne blend of grapes. So we've got the Chardonnay, the Pinot Meunier, and the Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
This was released on June 30th, 2024, the name to mark the 400th anniversary of the first printing of Shakespeare's first folio.
Really? Folio,
Yeah.
what you mean his first work, I suppose?
I would assume that.
Does it say what it was?
It doesn't actually know, but all it says it was
Do you
400
have a
years
favourite
ago.
Shakespeare work?
I don't
Or are
think
you one of those?
necessarily. I don't think so, no.
Are you one of those normal people who goes, actually, I've never read any Shakespeare?
Probably not. Or I'd say
I think-
something like
did you read
Romeo
any
and
Shakespeare at
Juliet or
school?
something. I don't know. I'm not too.
I think we did Macbeth.
No. Hamlet, Macbeth,
Macbeth's Shakespeare, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
You
a
know,
double.
Pooch
I have to
is
check.
actually, despite his rough exterior, he's the cultured one on the show.
He knows everything.
I look like I'm cultured, but I'm actually not. But I think we did Macbeth for O-level, English O-level, literature, which I think I failed. Damned spots and all that. But I've never been one to enjoy. I went to see Macbeth, funnily enough, and you'll like this story. I went to see Macbeth on Broadway because one of the things that you do when you live in New York is you never go to the theatre. Right, it's a bit like when you're in London. You just go. People go, well, it must be great living in New York. You go all these great Broadway shows. I'm like,
it's on your doorstep.
I haven't literally been to any. But do you know who was in Macbeth when I went to see it? Glenda Jackson, Lady Macbeth, and Christopher Plummer.
Oh, Christopher Plummer.
And what's amazing,
Wow.
it was actually a really, really good rendition of it, you know. And I actually managed to sit through it because I like the theatre, but I get restless. You know?
I haven't been to the theatre for years.
I've seen certain shows, but not many. I took my son to Wicked, which I thought was great when he was a little boy. And I've been to see Les Mis a couple of times, which I thought was amazing.
That would be...
But Macbeth in New York was one of the best things I'd ever seen.
I usually prefer to go
it was
to...
literally just the two of them on stage. Hardly anything else going on.
I'll go to the theatre because of the person I'm watching. So I think I went once to see Gene Wilder on stage, and it's these kind of people that I would see more than the play.
Well, the thing about Glenda Jackson, of course, is that she is the mother of Dan Hodges, right? She's Dan Hodges' mum. We're still waiting for him to come on the show, by the way, which hopefully he'll do soon.
You'll have a list of people wanting to come onto the show.
Oh yeah,
Believe
no,
me.
they'll
be
want
requesting
a bit now.
Pooch.
But I've got a shit list of people who didn't come on at the beginning, and I'm going to go no, sorry.
Yeah,
you know,
just to wind them up.
Do we need a?
No, we're fine with those. Top up.
There's one there, isn't there?
Yeah, we've got a spittoon. So that was the first one. So the bowler and the brody, a nice bit of English.
This is too nice to chuck in the spittoon.
It's great.
But that's coming back with you, sir.
Yeah.
So we're going to go the High Clarendon, and this was from Surrey, as we've now found out. It's £43 directly from their website.
Right.
It's a nice bit of English bubbly
now,
here.
tell me something, right? Because
Yes,
we talk about this quite a lot, and some of these English sparkling wines are quite expensive.
Yeah.
Do they? Are they competitive? I suppose is the question with the champagne market, because it seems to me, like I've said to you before, if you're standing in front of a rack of champagne, as I do sometimes, and you see, I don't know, Moet Chandon over there, 35. You see maybe the own brand of the supermarket, 30, 25, something like that.
Exactly.
And then you see this 43. Yeah. Are they selling a lot of that?
I think...
I just wonder whether it's a bit overpriced, English, sparkling wine.
I get what you're saying. I think we're comparing it to a name, which is champagne.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing that champagne has over centuries. It's really enforced its presence.
That's really nice,
and people pay a lot of money for champagne. So you may pay £10, £20 extra for a bottle because of the name champagne. It's understandable.
Yeah.
It conjures up this aspirational kind of lifestyle and fun. Whereas these wines are... comparing very well, especially against Moet Chandon, dare I say, these are very basic champagnes. Veuve Clicquot, Orange Label, very basic champagnes. If you see how they're made, it may turn you off. Right. When you see chocolates made.
But that's the other thing, like when I take these, as I often do, down to Sussex, and we get stuck into them on a Friday night. And tonight we're going to be watching the new Peaky Blinders movie. Apparently, that's already been priced in. Apparently, my son and his mother. Gone, well, that's what we're doing. And I'm like, okay then, I don't really have any say. But she will often say, I don't mind a glass of that, but it's not champagne.
Yeah, well, I think it's because there's champagnes in the dictionaries. Everybody knows what it is. It's very hard to move away from that word. If you go to the party with this compared to somebody going with a bottle of Veuve Clicquot is going to always look favourable. Whereas this may contain a wonderful kind of flavour over the standard champagnes. So that's what it is generally. They are competing. They make it in the same way. The difference probably is that the land values is a lot less in the UK. You may be paying €1 million per hectare for champagne, whereas in the UK you could probably get something for 50,000 by the time you put the grapes down. 150k is your investment.
So you're covering a lot less of an overhead.
You are, but all the other makeup of the bottle, from the cork, the bottle, the branding is all the same. I think it justifies being on
this
the
is
same,
very good.
Same shelf at the
And
same
in fact,
level.
if you gave me this on a blind taste test, I would say tastes like champagne.
I think we're going to do that. We're going to have a little blind taste here and see how we got on. Maybe Prosecco Cava, say French
we could do
Culture. That would be a bit of
Do
fun.
I have to wear a blindfold?
Yeah, we could do it that way if you wanted to. We could do. We could either put a sock over each bottle, or we can have blindfold. Blindfold type of thing.
Blindfold. Yeah, whatever.
We've got a super chat, people.
Yes.
Oh, have we? Yeah, okay. Please try Stanlake Park Wine Estate in Berkshire.
I think I've heard of Stanlake Park. Yeah.
I've got even
absolutely
worse news for you. I've got a message here from Donald McLeod. He says he's looking forward to Plonk of the Week next week.
Because?
Well, he's going to be here.
Whoa, okay, this is going to be fun.
How are we going to do that, by the way?
How are we going to do that?
We'll do it without Donald.
I mean, because the last time we did it with him, we got completely plastered, and it was a disaster.
It was so much fun.
Because the problem for me next weekend is I've got to drive to Cambridge
Thursday
on the Friday.
Unless it's Thursday.
Because I've been invited to a dinner.
No, we can do it Thursday.
Are we?
Do show, planks, Plonk.
Okay. All right, that works. So that means I can get as pissed as I want.
As pissed as you like.
And then stagger off in a taxi. That's fine.
Plonk, yeah,
that works.
absolutely. Well, we'll be here, whatever it is, and we'll bring the bubbles.
Yes, and I know, I'm sorry that we ended up having to do this in this particular time slot, because normally we like last week, we did about an hour and 20 minutes.
I think we'd have gone on forever.
Which was great
if
fun.
we weren't told to stop. Yeah,
With the lovely Anna McGovern.
It was really enjoyable.
It was really enjoyable, and I suddenly got a message from earlier on this week that I had to do a couple of other things, and I was like, oh, I can't really work much beyond 9:30, so can we sort that out? And by that time you'd already booked to be here on Friday, because I said, can we do it on Thursday? And you guys had already booked to be in on Friday, so hopefully...
It's half-price tickets, they're so expensive.
Hopefully we haven't messed up your Friday.
No. The tickets are so expensive you have to pre-book.
You know what? I had this problem last Saturday, because I ended up having to stay here last Friday night because I know Kelvin takes the piss out of me because I've got a personal trainer, but the personal trainer has been so great. He said to me he's doing some social media to promote his business, because he doesn't just do personal training, he also does kind of lifestyle advice on nutrition and blah, blah, blah. And I've been such a success. I'm his star client, right?
Pupil.
So he's like, do you mind coming in and we'll give you a free session, but can you come in and just do an interview? So I did. And so I said, all right. I said, it's going to take me too long to get back to East London, to get my car, to drive to Sussex, so I'm just going to go on the train.
Yeah.
Right? Can you believe that I had to pay 27 quid to travel to Battle, which is effectively an hour and 10 minutes.
It is
27
very
quid
expensive.
single, right?
Yeah.
I tried to buy the ticket on Trainline, which is the app, and I wanted to buy sort of a day return or a weekend or a cheap return, whatever, so that somebody else could use the return bit.
Yeah.
It wouldn't let me do that.
No.
I then had to buy it, and then it said, "Oh, you'll have to turn up at the station and get the ticket from the ticket office." I'm like, "What? I can't just get it on the phone?" No, you can't do that. I mean, just ridiculous. And then it turned out that the train that I wanted to get on wasn't going to Battle; it was going to Etchingham, 2 stops before, because of engineering works, and there's a replacement
you've
bus
got all
service.
of that to deal with.
And I'm going. So I'm paying 27 quid to go one way for about an hour, and you're not even taking me to where I want to go.
I think the whole system. If you look at the whole of the UK, everything. I mean, even the people that produce these wines, they're paying through the nose for the bottle, for the cork, for the taxes, and all of this stuff. And then they're attacking the hospitality. The hospitality sector's being attacked. Don't forget. That's really dwindling down. So it's
and that
harder
must be
than
having
ever.
an effect on the wholesale.
It does indeed,
numbers.
yeah. Well, then the wine merchants go down as well. The wine merchants' numbers goes down, so it's literally tough out there.
I mean, do you know?
It's tough.
And I know it's not an easy question to answer, but do you know whether there's a measurable kind of loss to people like these guys? You know, how many fewer bottles of sparkling wine they're actually selling to the trade because so many places have shut down?
I'm not quite sure with regards to England. The only positive thing, say, for English sparkling wine is that the numbers are still quite low.
Yeah.
So the demand is high. So compared to champagne, there's hundreds of millions of bottles made, where in the UK there may be like 10, 15 million.
Yeah.
And there's demand globally. So probably they're not suffering as bad. But I was speaking to some wineries in the past week that said, neighbouring wineries are closing down. They're literally pulling up the vines, they're all closing down. it is tough, and restaurants are closing down. Wine merchants are going bust.
I mean,
it's not a pretty
pleasantly
picture.
surprised. We went to see some people yesterday, business partners possibly, who are not far away from us, between here and sort of Westminster. Quite a lot of pubs. Had quite a lot of people in them yesterday. It was a nice day.
Well, that's nice to see.
And we both said, isn't it great to see people actually out and about, enjoying themselves and drinking in sort of late afternoon sunshine.
What I remember from all the years ago.
That's what we all remember. We used to
London
do.
especially.
And funnily enough, I came out of a party I was in, on the boat last night, and I took my son. We ended up going for a curry in Borough Market, or around Borough Market.
You like Borough
and
Market?
And it was rammed.
Yeah. But Borough Market is always busy.
Home.
Yeah, but it's always busy. Borough Market.
No,
is
but Thursday night it was literally rammed with people, which I just thought, this is great.
I love that area, all the little pubs and everything. The lovely cheese shop there, the amazing cheese shop in the market, but also
the
outside.
They call themselves.
Oh, that's an incredible place there. Yeah.
No, I love Borough Market. I mean,
and
it's not
obviously there was filmed, Lock Stock was filmed there, the famous scene.
Bridget
and all
Jones
that.
as well.
Was it? I didn't know
Do
that.
you remember the first Bridget Jones movie?
I don't know if I've watched them.
Have you not?
I've heard
the
of them.
The first one's really good, actually. And I mean, I know it's a bit of a girly film. But there's a great scene where Hugh Grant has a fight with what's his face? Who's the other guy? Who's in Bridget Jones? Charlotte, come on. Colin Firth, yeah.
Colin Firth.
And they're literally fighting in Stony Street, which is the main sort of street in Borough Market. And there's a restaurant there. And I used to, it was before it became really trendy.
Yeah, this is it.
And the whole, the whole scene, which goes on for about 10 minutes of them punching the shit out of each other, is filmed in Borough Market. It's great.
Yeah, it's just
and in fact, there is now, because her flat is there, and in fact, there's now there's a Thai restaurant which has opened up, which is in basically where her flat was. So you go there, and they say this is Bridget Jones's flat, and you can come and have dinner. And we can walk you around the flat and it's quite funny.
Yeah, but I think it's a little pocket, isn't it? A little area there, and it's such quintessentially English, dare I say. There,
yes.
For something about it, I really, really love. So we're going to leave Shakespeare, unfortunately, even though we're not that aware on too much about Shakespeare. But we're going to look at the Elizabethan. Now, this is from Fox and Fox, and their label is called the Elizabethan.
Oh, right.
It's 2014, so it's got a bit of age to this. Jonica is an absolutely wonderful lady.
2014, so it's like 12 years old.
It is, unfortunately, yes. Yeah, Jonica's the winemaker.
About the same as the mental
lady.
age of Donald MacLeod, who's just sent me this. He says, I'll be bringing Harouche and a bottle of Titan Douro Red. I think that's one of his favourite Portuguese wines. He likes the Portuguese wine.
Tenants Pills maybe as well, something like that.
Well,
maybe, I don't know,
if you remember the last time he came down, he
Double
brought,
Diamond
he
or
brought
whatever it is.
the old, what do you call it? The
the Buckfast. Yeah, he did. That was okay, wasn't it? It was
What's
different.
Harouche? What's Harouche?
Harouche, I don't know that
Harouche.
one.
Harouche. It's Glaswegian.
So this is 2014. It's dedicated to the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Limited edition.
Oh, it's that Elizabethan. I thought you... Because whenever I hear Elizabethan, I assume it means, Elizabeth I.
Oh, yes, indeed. No, the period. No, this is for the second, Elizabeth, which we lost recently. Limited edition Chardonnay and Pinot Gris. One of 1,700 bottles.
Hang on, I've got this from Pooch.
You can't open it.
Is a brand of alcoholic spirit created by Lost Loch Spirits. Inspired by a Scottish term for high-spirited, disorderly gathering.
I need to tell.
Aye. Lost Loch Spirits. Well, that's interesting.
It's that good.
It's a blend of whiskey, apparently.
Oh, well, this is the drink that Donald's bringing in. Well, we're waiting for you, Donald.
Mate, listen, Donald, he gets me into so much trouble, If I'd been married when I knew him at first, I would have got divorced.
Would you?
Yeah.
Well, and left her for him?
No,
I
was just always in trouble because he runs a nightclub.
Yeah,
right?
He could
called
be a
the
bit
Garage,
dangerous.
which is one of the most famous nightclubs in Britain, and I would go there every night, even though I had a job.
Sounds
we
fun.
would sit there until 5 a.m. They'd close at about 4, and he and I would hang about.
It's many years since I've done that.
Yeah,
so
I know.
I must be honest with you.
Same for me. I mean, we're talking 20 years ago. Yeah. Probably actually more than 25 years ago. And, I mean, the mother of my kids, poor woman, I'm not going to say her name because she doesn't like me to mention her name, but she put up with a lot of shit because I would literally come home at 5, 6 in the morning.
Brahms and Liszt.
And then have to go into work at 10.
How do you cope with that?
I don't know. I don't know how I did it.
No, it just...
I don't know. Oh, there we go. Harouche, he's just sent me he sent me the bottle. There we go. That's what he's going to bring.
Oh, that looks good. We're looking forward to that, sir.
We're looking forward to it, Donald.
We are indeed. Yes, yes. How that's going to blend in with all our lovely champagnes and
maybe we
so
could do a
forth.
kind of like a harouche velvet or something. You know how the Guinness and champagne.
Maybe we'll try and get a cocktail together.
We could do that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Oliver?
I think we'll work our magic.
Have you got a cocktail shaker?
Yeah, I do.
Can you bring it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll give that a go. So make sure we don't spill any, but we'll be fine. So that was the Shakespearean. We're going to do the Elizabethan. So Queen Elizabeth II, limited edition, 1,700 bottles.
Right.
They are based in East Sussex, High Weald, England.
High Weald, I know it well. It's not far from Sevenoaks.
Okay, yeah, down there. So Jonica's the winemaker. It's £45 directly from the winery, but it is a limited edition. So 1,700 bottles.
It's quite clearly, it's not terribly dark coloured, is it?
This one here, no, it's Chardonnay and Pinot Gris. So we're looking at 2 white grapes there. Oh, it's good, but she was voted the world's best sparkling wine a few years ago.
Okay.
So she certainly knows what she's doing. But this on the nose is really good. Really good.
This is lovely, actually. Yeah. In fact, both of the last 2 sparklers were very nice.
So it's
very high quality.
It's dedicated to the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. I know not everybody's going to be a fan of the royal family, especially in today's kind of topsy-turvy kind of world.
I like this.
But I think many people do probably love Queen Elizabeth II, what she did in a lot of ways.
Well, do you know what? There'll be people who will be reminded, because sometimes it's good to be reminded of these things, that it was a simpler time. It seems as though now, when you look at the royal family, you think, crikey, Charles suffering from cancer, poor guy, William and Kate, she's suffering from cancer. Andrew, who is a cancer.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a polite word, probably, on that basis.
Harry and Meghan. And you just think, bloody hell, back in 2014, when the Queen was still in charge, it was all great.
Yeah.
And now look at it.
It's a bit of it's like an episode of EastEnders and Coronation Street combined, the royal families. Now, I don't tend to read up on it, to be honest with you. But the Elizabethan. So Fox and Fox Mayfield. And
there we go. How about that? Is that good? Or that way more?
No, that's good. What you were.
This is really nice, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. We may have to fight over this, Pooch, because I'm sure that I'm
happy to do that.
Your missus
on screen
is a big fan of you coming home with bottles of Plonk.
She's a big fan of drinking.
She's become more.
The thing about what we do, right? And I don't think I'm going to give anything away here. Pooch and I'd probably drink more during the week than he does, because he's driving up and down from Guildford, and it's not so easy for him. Whereas for me, I can sort of stay up till about midnight and, generally get myself, quite bladdered. But so at the weekend, Pooch occasionally disappears for about 12 hours, and I go, and I know exactly why he's not on the WhatsApps, and I know he's on the piss, And God bless him, he deserves it because he works so hard.
Well, I think with us, when we're at home type thing, we get loads of samples. We're tasting wines about 10:30, 11 onwards type thing. But usually that lasts until about 4 or 5. I find after that point, I like a nice cup of tea. And otherwise the acidity can build up a bit too much. We're tasting spitting, although we're also drinking a little bit. I won't say we don't drink as well, but I think a cup of tea.
But you guys are in the business of drinking, and so you have to be careful, don't you? I mean, you have to be careful.
I think common sense prevails there. I think at the end of the day, you can overindulge in it. If you come to our office, there's just wines everywhere. People, if they've got a drink problem, it would be kind of like, oh, what is this? It's like
I find, for example, that the discipline of having to get up and do a show in the morning, which is part of the reason that we decided, I think, to do it, is that I kind of need that in my life. If I didn't have to get up in the morning, like, for example, when I used to do the evening show at Talk, it was a disaster because I didn't have to get up. And so I'd get home, finishing the show at around about sort of 10ish in the evening. I'd get home 10:30, 11:15. I'd stick a movie on, watch The Deer Hunter or something. And then go, oh, that was good. I'll put Pulp Fiction on now, and I'd literally sit there drinking till about 4 or 5 in the morning.
Well, that's not good for you, I think.
And I would then sleep till about midday, by which time the the production team had sort of got in and was starting to book guests.
Yeah, you have to change everything.
But I just had there was no healthy thing that I wasn't doing anything healthy.
No.
I was just drinking like a maniac. You know?
And that's where you've got to be careful not getting up too much, sitting down too
Yeah.
much, especially
And
drinking.
also
This
nobody
contains
really,
sugar.
people say
as
to me
well.
now, and we talked about this yesterday, it's great. One of the things that we love about running this new station, and we've got so much great news coming out, and we'll be telling you about it as we go next week and the week after, building our own channel, building our own business, it's great. But even back then, I didn't really have anyone telling me what to do. There was always a boss somewhere in the background, but there wasn't, and if I haven't got my own personal reason to be, if you like, to get up in the morning, to not get too carried away at night, to not get too buggered up so that I come in the morning and I can't work because I'm too pissed, Seriously, no, but I mean, I used to, and I kind of rebel against people trying to control me. So I would do that when I was working out somewhere else, I don't know whether I've turned this into some kind of ridiculous...
Yeah, but I think
with that wine,
yes,
it's
sir.
the most amazing finish.
Isn't it lovely?
Can you critique it? Right?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I think it's lovely. It's like, I mean, if you gave me a blank palette and said that's champagne, I would think it was champagne. It's really it's beautiful.
Yeah, but it's
light. It's very flavoursome. It leaves a very nice taste in the mouth. I would say definitely as good as a decent like Bollinger or something.
Well, there's a lot of commitment from Jonica here. She's left it 7 years in the bottle on lease, so it's really drawing in the pastry characters. But this is very young, fresh. It's very highly acidic. What that tells you is that you could lay this down in your cellar for 10, 15 years. It will evolve. It will pacify that acidity, and it will probably be an amazing wine. Not that it isn't that today. But this is certainly a lay-down wine for me. The acidity is a little bit high for my liking. It's got a citrus kind of grapefruit style.
Yeah, you're right. It has a great sort of fruity kind of flavour. I don't have a problem with the acidity.
No.
I think it's lovely.
Very lively. It's very fresh. It's very well done. And again, it's already 12 years old. So 2014 doesn't sound that long ago now, does it?
No.
But it's 12 years. So yeah.
Do you know when I wonder about that, and you might do the same with Oliver? Is when you see, when sometimes you switch on the old iPad and it pops up with, pictures
memories
from holidays.
Yeah.
12 years ago, my 19-year-old son, Christopher, was 7, right? And that's when you know that you've passed a massive milestone. Because he was like there, and now he's taller than me. Now he's bigger than me. He was out with me last night. And in fact, he bought me dinner.
Crikey, the time's changed.
I
You've done well.
I know.
Well, you got that in quickly.
And when I came back, I went, I said, I'm going to go to the loo, I'll asked for the bill. I came back up.
I'll pay for
and
that.
he paid for it.
Well,
and
that's nice. That's a lovely relationship.
And he said, and you know what he said? He said it was only £100.
Crikey.
Wow.
And I was like, fair.
They want to see the label.
For the Elizabethan.
Did we not do that already?
We do it again. It's Elizabethan. So Jonica is the winemaker. So
it's really lovely. Honestly.
They've got a lot of different wines, and they always seem to win gold medals.
Nice.
Like that?
Very good expression of the terroir.
That is very nice.
High Weald, East Sussex, England. So there we go. So we've done another kind of English name there in Elizabethan. Now we're going to go to Champagne. I do understand what Champagne got to do with England, but this one's called Trianon 1966. For viewers that are old enough, they may realise what 1966 means. This is the triumph of the World Cup Willie year.
World Cup Willie.
World Cup Willie. Remember that? It was World Cup Willie.
I actually had one of those.
Yeah.
There was a little figure that you could get.
Or the money box.
And I think in the old days you used to get it from the petrol station, I think.
Probably.
Because there were two things you used to get from the petrol station. I don't know if you remember this, Pooch. You used to get
stamps?
Green Shield stamps, one. And we used to go to a Green Shield stamps place in Swiss Cottage, my mother and I, and she would like redeem them and buy stuff, right? But also you would have coins that you could collect.
Yes.
And you'd have a book of coins, and every time you go to Esso or something, you'd get the. But also, I had a little World Cup Willie, who was on he was on a little plinth. He was about that size, and I think he was
looked
like a
lion.
lion.
It was, yeah.
And he was on a little plinth and with a ball bearing, so he could push it around. It was great.
Hours of fun.
I mean, literally, I say this to my kids. They go, "What?
Yeah.
What is that? What you used to do?" And you go, "Yep." Yeah, you used to push it around, and then Sabutio used to flick the thing, and they're going, "What a crap shit life that must have been." because they think it was awful.
Yeah.
But it was great.
But now they've got technology and stuff like that, but they don't drink and chase girls and boys.
No. Or swap football stickers like I used to do in the playground as a kid.
Yeah, do you remember, did you do the flicking of the cards? Did you do that?
Yeah, I don't know about that, no. What's
the
that?
flicking, so you'd have like the cards that you wanted, right? And you'd put 2 up against the wall.
Go on.
And you'd flick the cards at them. And if you got the cards knocked down, you got all the other cards.
Well, I didn't know that.
That was
no,
like a massive thing.
I missed out in life.
We used to do
didn't I?
that in morning break and afternoon break, where we'd get, it's about 11 o'clock, and you'd get the break in the morning, you'd get a glass of milk, which was usually horrible because it was curdled. It'd be sitting in a be sitting in a crate like in the morning with the sun shining on it, and you go curdled.
You still have to drink
and then you'd play the card thing, and if you ended up with like this many cards, you'd be like, this is a great day.
Yeah.
And if you got completely raped by the card guy and you'd have no cards, that was terrible. Sorry, Charlotte.
I played marbles. Getting it on the same line on the drain was the game.
The 2 things I wasn't into, marbles and conkers, couldn't care less.
Well, marbles definitely for me. Definitely marble. You used to have to play on the drain. You used to have to get it on the same line of the drain. I think that was part of it. Or hit the marbles was the other thing. Yeah, that was big there. Innocent days as young school children back then.
What have we got here?
We've got Champagne Roger Constant Lemaire. Their label's called Trianon 1969. It's not 1966 as in the year.
Right.
It's literally...
But what, they put that on the label?
And they put it on the label because that's when
attempt to try and hoodwink les Anglais.
It could be to say, hey, come here and taste this.
Because they're idiots and go, 1966, I'll have some of that.
You think this is all over, but it is now.
Yeah.
But this was they launched this label in 1966. So obviously when Jeff Hurst was banging in those 3 goals, or 2 or 3, however you want to look at it, this was being made. So it's 60% Pinot Noir, 40% Chardonnay. It is a champagne, classic champagne. Villers-sur-Châtillon, which is west of Épinay, their base. It's the family producer, which is always lovely to see. The 2 sons work in the business. One son, Guillaume, is the winemaker, and Sébastien is working in the office administration side. But but really, really good. £60 from Champagne Root Bar in Wapping again, and an all-round great champagne. Voted also one year the world's best champagne. This was. I think it's actually got the medal.
You're really good at finding these unusual kind of unknown marks.
Oh, we love it.
QUES.
Yes.
Because you've done this before, where you've brought things in and gone, this was a winner of.
That's how I tried to. Yeah. I tried to our best.
It's really interesting because. I mean, obviously they're successful wineries because otherwise they wouldn't be producing what they're producing. But how do you find these places which is so unusually kind of unknown? Because they are kind of unknown. They're not what you would call kind of everyday.
They're not an iconic
labels.
brand. They're not an iconic brand.
No.
We travel a lot. When we're in Champagne, we go and see people. We try to be in sociable.
I mean, is there like an independent sort of network, if you like?
They belong to certain different groups that you could look at on their website and find their names. But the best way of discovering these people is to travel out there, drive to the village, meet the family. 9 times out of 10, they're delighted to see you.
Okay.
They talk about the history. You've met the grandma, the granddad, then the winemaker. You've been in the cellars, and all of a sudden you've got a passion for what they produce. If the wine is good to match, which this is good, then you've got a lifelong memory and a lifelong friend. We've known them for 10, 12 years.
This is very drinkable. It's very
unfortunately, it's drinkable. But don't worry, next week for Donald, we'll be bringing non-drinkable wines.
No, but it's very kind of smooth, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes, and I've said this before, it's a bit, some champagne's a bit gassy. It's a bit kind of, like last week, for example, and I don't know whether it was just me, but I found it quite difficult to drink some of the stuff you were giving me.
Yeah, that's
because
no problem,
it was kind of not going down terribly well.
I think I know why. I think this has had longer bottle aging. So this has been in our cellar maybe for 4 years on the cork. So what that does is it literally tones down any sharpness.
Okay.
It may define the bubbles. They become a little bit tinier.
Yes. I mean, I don't know are you drinking this, Pooch?
Yeah, it's very good.
It's really good, isn't it? It's smooth. It's kind of, it doesn't feel... I just felt like last week, and again, it might be just because of what I'd had the night before, it just felt a little bit more difficult to sort of digest.
I think there was a variation of wines that we had. I think
it
we
might
had the
have been
Moselle
just was annoying me.
You like the Moselle, the older one, wasn't it? The
Moselle, funnily enough,
Dr. Lucen.
Yeah, I took the 2 bottles back to my place in London.
Yeah,
and I didn't drink them until Monday.
Wow.
And in fact, in one case, I think the Moselle on Monday and then the other one on Tuesday, because those new stoppers actually are great. They continue to keep the bowls.
Excellent.
And so I had the rest of the Moselle on Monday, and it was really nice actually. But
it is a good one.
But on the Friday, I sort of felt like I'm struggling to sort of enjoy this. I don't know why.
Maybe it's to do with bottle aging. Sorry.
I think a couple of the ones we had last week needed food with them.
Maybe.
I think so.
But you don't allow that.
No.
So he's like, Pooch doesn't allow me to eat on the show because
sometimes that's a good combination.
Like O'Sullivan when we can.
Yes. Yeah. He used to turn up, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bloody Kevin O'Sullivan, right?
Yeah.
He used to turn up. We used to do a podcast called The Thought Police. Who knows if we'll ever do it again? And if we do, maybe we'll do it with somebody else. Maybe with Kelvin. Because it was a lot of stories about the old Fleet Street days and all of that.
That's nice.
And we would do it recording normally in the pub, in the Horseshoe pub, which was a place that we got to know really well during COVID, because we became really good friends with the guy that owned it. And we used to go upstairs, and there was a lovely room there with big leather armchairs and all of that. And Pooch would come all the way up from Sussex.
Wow.
And, I would walk across from News UK, and Kevin would always be late. It was like, we're all here, we're all doing the same thing. What's your fucking problem? Sorry to swear. And he would turn up late, and not only would he turn up late, but he'd turn up with a sort of baguette or something, right? And he'd sit down and go, "Oh, all right, guys, we're here," and he'd just start eating
crumbs everywhere and chewing, I know.
And I'm like, why? It's 2:00 in the afternoon. Why have you not had something to eat before you get here? Why have you not eaten it at home?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, the problem is some people don't like the chewing sound. They have a phobia of that.
No,
so
but it wasn't
doesn't
just
also
we didn't
help.
like the chewing sound. It was like, why are you coming to record a podcast with a sandwich?
Yeah.
It's not an eating competition.
Yeah.
Eat the fucking sandwich
before you
get
come
here.
in, or just wait until you're finished. A glass of wine together is not bad. We can allow that, surely.
Well,
but when it comes to
we would
a Subway,
normally
Sarnie, maybe not.
We'd have a pint of Guinness or whatever, and it was fine. You could drink, and then Pooch would film it, and we would record it, and blah, blah, blah. But it was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then sometimes he'd turn up and not have food, but then he'd order food.
Yeah.
So some character would turn up in the middle of the podcast.
Not like a Just Eat kind of delivery.
From the bar. It was just ridiculous.
Well, when we've got Donald here, we have party poppers, we have Buckfast. It's kind of chaotic as well, but fun. That's the fun chaotic.
Well, it's fine if you know that's going to happen, though.
Yeah.
Like if Donald's coming and we go, right, here's what we're going to do.
I now know what Donald does, so I'm prepared for it. And we all like fun, definitely. So 1966, a long time ago since we last won the World Cup. And that was the Roger Constant Nemere, and it was £60, as I say, per bottle. But it's a very good quality champagne.
Quite a lot, isn't it?
It is, and I do understand some of the viewers would like to see less price wines, but we're trying to get a nice selection each week. The last one we're going to do, maybe we might do the questions. Saying that, Oliver.
Yeah, did you want a cocktail as well?
Have you got time for a quick cocktail? Let's do a quick cocktail.
I mean, we're already running over.
All right.
Which is fine, but which is partly why I wanted to start a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Because as long as I'm out of here by 10 o'clock.
Your company, Mike.
I mean, as the international clock says, it's only 8, right?
No, 7.
It's only 7 o'clock.
It's getting earlier and earlier.
I think somebody's been, tinkering with that clock.
Do you think we can return it?
I think to be honest, right, if it doesn't work properly, like the sign, I think we give it back.
Do you reckon?
Because I'm worried that it doesn't seem to be moving as much as it should.
And that?
Yeah, Graham show.
Graham, show the mic.
Graham, show the mic.
Mike Graham show.
That looks fine.
That looks fine now.
Because I'm looking at it from the other side. It looks fine to me. It's the Mike Graham show. You just read it backwards. What's the problem?
A few drinks, it makes perfect sense.
I tell you what, this is good, right? I was on the tube the other day, standing, and there's a woman in front of me, Chinese woman, and she was reading her phone.
Well done.
And all in Chinese, right?
Wow.
And I wasn't, what's the word? Snooping on her.
No.
But she was it was like a Kindle or something she was reading, right? But it was all Chinese. And it kept flicking pages. But backwards.
Backwards, yeah.
Yeah.
And then read from the other way.
It was going from right to left.
Yeah.
So I sort of became fascinated by it. She's going like this. and it would automatically go like that. And you're kind of going, that's mad, that's insane. But she was reading it backwards, and I'm going, I can't even imagine what that's like. How can you read backwards? And they apparently no, but they read from right to left. So it's not just that you're reading the whole page backwards, but so you're reading the line from right to left, right? Instead of we're looking at like left to right, they're going like that.
Yeah, that literally does your head in. Yeah.
And I think she was messaging a Labour MP. Anyway,
No,
sorry,
that
just
would
kidding.
make sense, wouldn't it?
Obviously, that wasn't necessarily what she was doing.
They don't need any more bad press, I think.
No.
So what we're going to have here is a classic champagne cocktail, French 75. So as Oliver's just done for us here, it's a little bit of gin in the bottom there with a sugar cube to give it.
I saw that.
The champagne.
Do you know, when I first started drinking champagne as a teenager, with the Hungarian guy I used to work with.
Oh, yes.
He used to drop a sugar cube into the champagne because he said it helped with the acidity and the bubbles.
It could be. It certainly adds bubbles. The bubbles should be there anyway. So if it's a bit flat, maybe add something. It may have a reaction.
No, I think he meant that it sort of took the bubbles out of the conversation. You know.
Oh well, contrary to here, we got quite a bit of bubbly. So it's got a squeeze of lemon in as well. So.
So what's in this?
Gin. The sugar cube, the champagne, squeeze of lemon, and then the zest of the lemon on the top.
Does it have a name, Oliver, this drink?
French 75.
French 75?
Yeah, so it's not quintessentially English, but we thought we'd have a little cocktail in between.
I quite like that.
Oh, that
I
may
like
be
that.
I'll have to ask my friend Google.
Is it, and is the gin botanical? Does it have a flavour or not really?
It's more a little bit standard.
Standard.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
because it tastes like it's got something else going on. It tastes like a.
Which one was it, Oliver?
It tastes like it's got a bit of a fruity nature to it. That you know.
I mean, there's all different tiles of gins. I think we've gone for more of a bland one, should we say, not to take away the character from it. It's refreshing.
Here we go.
Berkeley Square.
Berkeley Square.
This dates back to World War I, when in 1915 an early form was created at the New York Bar in Paris, later Harry's New York Bar. Wow.
Yeah, that's
combination was said to have such a kick that it felt like being shelled with the powerful French 75mm field gun.
Oh, right. Well, that's it, the gun. Because Oliver could be wearing a gun now, literally.
People do say that he looks like he's got some kind of gun holster thing going on.
I think somebody said he's making me nervous by standing there when I'm watching it. It's like something's going to happen.
He's a very unthreatening young man, I have to say.
Absolutely, very calm.
That's interesting,
Oliver.
that. Yeah. So 1915.
There we go. So during
do
the
you know
First
what?
World
Here's
War.
a question. I don't know if you've got a question for me this week, have you?
Yes, we do.
Have you? Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. If you could go back in time.
Tell me.
All right?
Yeah.
Where would you go?
If I could go back in time.
Back in time to any place or
depends
era.
how we'd need to answer that question. Because if I went back in time, I'm very happy with my life and the family. I'd go back 2 weeks.
I'm not saying you go back in time forever.
Numbers.
I'm not saying you go back forever.
No,
you just go back for a visit.
Oh, back for a visit is a different thing. Otherwise, I'll go back, look at the lottery tickets, and we would have a lovely life if that's the case.
Yeah.
But if I had to go back,
well, that's like the Back to the
past,
Future story, isn't it?
It could be, yeah, absolutely. Where would I go back to? Well, I think the best era that I think lived through was the 80s. In some ways, the state of the country currently and so many different things, when you look at programmes from the 1980s, look at the music, look at the films, and you remember what life was back, I'd love just to have a day.
But you were obviously alive in the 80s, right? Were you a kid?
No, I was born in 2001, actually. 1974, yes.
One of my girlfriends.
I did, I was alive during that time. It was a wonderful time to be alive, and I think I just need that little
You're much
bit.
younger than me, though. So when we
not much. I wouldn't have
when
thought,
were you born?
1974.
That's that's 14 years younger than me.
Okay, well, it's not too much, is it?
No, it's not.
It's not a lot.
But it means that in the 80s you weren't really at the races. You were a kid.
I wasn't, but I remember a lot from that era: the television, the atmosphere, the streets, the school, and I'd love to have a day just to feel rejuvenated and happy again.
Okay.
I think that's just me. But yourself?
I'd like to go further back, I think, because obviously I was born in 1960, so in the 80s I was in my 20s, and I went to New York, and I was like, I had a great time of my life. And I remember there's a movie with Dennis Hopper in it, and I can't remember what the movie is, but he says at one point, the 90s are going to be so wild that they're going to make the 1960s look like the 1950s. Right?
Yeah,
Because the 50s were kind of, you know,
a bit of a
when things started to get a bit exciting, people started to get things like washing machines and, you know, self-determination and freedom, which they never really thought they had. And suddenly then the 60s happened.
Flower power.
And I kind of missed a bit of that because I was a kid. And then the 70s happened and I was very much a child. I think a child of the 70s, you know, where I lived through this incredible kind of...
era?
I would say, I don't know how best to describe it, a kind of emergence from tyranny in a way, because you were kind of like punk happened. And, you know, Pooch, you'll know about this, because it was, you know, 1976, suddenly the Sex Pistols, you were going, bloody hell. And I wasn't actually a big punk fan. I was actually a kid that had, like, I was into Led Zeppelin, I was into Deep Purple, I used to go to all these music shows, which were very much kind of heavy metal type stuff. I remember seeing Uriah Heep at the Hammersmith Odeon, stuff like that. Tangerine Dream at the Albert Hall, you know. So I wasn't really into punk at all, but it was very much a punky kind of time. But I think I'd like to go back to the Roman times.
Okay.
If I was able to.
And they were making wine then, don't forget.
Yeah.
So,
I'd like to be, and obviously you don't want to be
on the wrong side.
Going back as a slave or somebody that's going to be, you know, exploited or, you know, raped or anything like that. Sorry, I don't know why I thought of that. But I just think it would be interesting to be in Britain when the Romans came.
Can you imagine?
Kind of, we're trying to civilise the country.
No cities back then.
No,
just hardly
doing things like building cities, you know, making roads. You know what I mean? Just being
proper
kind of,
roads.
Yeah.
Proper roads, yeah.
Because I think one of the things that we miss about where we are today is that people, I think, are spoiled to the extent that they don't realise how much greater we are as a nation, as a kind of society, as humans, where we can think about almost anything and we can talk about almost anything, and we can have thoughts and philosophies and ideas. Because I imagine that when you were living in Roman times, if you went up to some guy who was in a tent with a fire, and you said, "So I've got this idea. I'm going to invent a car."
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? And the guy's going, "What?" And you go, "Well, you know, this thing is going to have
steering wheel,
four wheels, right? It's going to have rubber tyres.
Yeah.
What? It's going to have a steering wheel,
cigarette lighter,
radio,
things,
you know, Apple AirPlay. It's true, but you know, I just would love to be there to go.
What's your name? Oh, I'm Mr. Musk.
Yeah,
okay, fine.
I've just got this brilliant idea. We're going to invent a plane. What?
Here's a mobile phone.
You're going to walk into this, you know, like flying cylinder made of metal.
Can you imagine?
And it's going to take off, and you're going to fly to a place that you've never been.
Yeah,
I just think that would be cool.
And here's a prototype of a mobile phone. Honestly, wait a minute, you're in the wrong era.
I just think that would be amazing.
You wouldn't get anywhere though, would you? Be telling them all this.
You know, I don't know what they ate in those days, but I've got this idea.
Maybe.
I'm going to make some spaghetti, shepherd's pie.
Try and explain that to them. What's a shepherd's pie? What? A bœuf bourguignon.
I've got some frozen peas. Pardon? What do you mean? You know, frozen peas, right? We're growing some vegetables over here. I'm just because I'm kind of fascinated by the evolution of the human, and I'd like to go back to when it wasn't very evolved,
and to see whether or not what they tell us did happen. That'd be interesting to go back there and you say, wait a minute, it's totally different to what I was told at school.
Yeah. And also, you know, if we are evolving, and I used to do this stuff on my overnight show on Talk Sport years ago. Because I used to joke that I think we're now evolving backwards. We're actually getting more stupid
and
more bloody idiotic, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
How did we become so clever? Because it'd be nice to know so that we could become clever again, because we're not very clever at the moment.
I don't think we're using the best. I think when you
look at Keir Starmer, right?
Oh, Christ, don't.
Fucking absolute... I'm not going to say the C word, sorry.
No.
I think an absolute plank, right? And
I think worse than I think he's dangerous, personally.
Well, I think so too. But you know, this is where we've got to, where we've got a guy leading the country, supposedly elected by the majority of the people, who just literally is of no use to man or beast. I mean, you wouldn't give I wouldn't give him a job in Waitrose.
Wet weekend.
Right? And I just would like to go back to those days where there must have been people who were clever, who had ideas, who had thoughts
they exist.
that made us evolve into what we are.
I think they do exist. I just think they're kind of clouded down by so much nonsense in today's world. I think we have those people here.
And this radical got arrested and thrown in jail though. Galileo, Darwin.
Yeah, there we go.
Like that.
Did they get arrested?
Galileo did.
Did he?
That's interesting, Pooch.
Galileo.
He was arrested.
Was he?
Yeah.
Wasn't it not because he was a paedophile though?
No, not at all. Hey.
Was that Archimedes? Archimedes was
You'll
in the
get
bath
sued
a lot.
now by
I wonder if we've lost that though. You know, we've lost something.
We've lost common sense. I think common sense is a big thing.
But that's true. But have we also not lost the kind of individuality and the kind of curiosity that people used to have?
I think convenience and comfort sort of kills a lot of that.
I agree with that.
Well,
I've said this many times that one of the problems for, like your generation in particular, is that you've never suffered really in a bad way. So you kind of are so comfortable that you don't have anything to worry about. So suddenly now kids are worried about the climate, or they're worried about their gender, or they're worried about some bullshit,
that's
which doesn't really matter.
No.
But what they're not doing is looking ahead and going, how can we make the world a better place? How can we improve on what we've got?
But there's so many restrictions in order to do that. If you want to do something good, there's so much challenging you. Let's be honest with you. I think that's the big problem. Most people are probably just keeping quiet, can't be bothered. But things will change. I think let's look at the positive things. I think more people are waking up to what's happening. They're understanding something's not quite right. Most people, whoever they are actually genuine people. They all want to get on with their neighbours and just get on with life.
Yeah.
You know? I think we need more of that kind of character in this country, especially.
I don't mind all that.
Yeah.
But, you know, to me, that's a bit anodyne. And it's nice.
Anodyne?
Anodyne, you know, meaning it's kind of, you know, pleasant.
Oh, right.
But kind of insipid. It's, you know, it's what you would say.
I'd have to write that down. Anodyne is an impressive
you know, of course,
word.
everybody should be nice. It's like, you know, be nice
I know
to
what
people.
you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not interested in being nice, right? I had this conversation with my son last night, and we were both saying, and again, I don't want to use the C word because I've just had a message from his mother going, please don't swear. Bollocks, right? And he said, you know, the thing about you and I, because his brother, for example, he's a really nice kid. He's up in Manchester University.
What's he studying now?
Lovely. He's studying like music management, kind of, you know, creative. Well, last time I said that, somebody gave me a hard time. What's he studying that for? What a bloody waste of time that is. No, but it's a sort of liberal arts degree which is preparing him to do, you know, media studies. He's learning about, you know, technology and music and all that kind of thing. So I think it's quite useful, and he might end up working here.
Could be worse, you work in the wine industry.
Yeah,
you know?
But I'm thinking not so much about, and Christopher was saying to me, you know, the thing about you and I is the reason that we're successful is because we're not very nice, which in some ways is true, you know.
Well, that's a good, I don't disagree with
you
that. In some ways, you can't be nice.
Right?
That's a very good point,
just
I know.
Roll over.
This is a whole new conversation.
But what I want to see is, from his point of view and from my point of view, and maybe from all of our points of view, and Pooch is the same. I mean, Pooch, lovely guy, but he's got an edge, you know? And if you cross him, you know, it's not a
just
good
like
thing.
you two, they've got an edge as well.
Very good.
And Bonner.
Yeah, very good. And I can tell you a story about the edge.
Go on, tell us. Yeah.
Because I was once in the same studio as the Edge in America, in the New York City Electric Lady Studios. And because Steve Lillywhite, who's his producer, big mate of mine, right?
Oh, wow.
And he had said to me, why don't you pop in to the studios if you're in New York? He said, I'm in New York at the same time.
Lovely
and
invite.
Steve lives in Jakarta. No, lives in Bali now, right? And he's an amazing guy. He produced the Psychedelic Furs, produced, you know, the Rolling Stones. He's done all kinds of incredible stuff, right? And I said, what are you doing in New York? He said, I'm producing the new U2 album. I was like, all right then.
When was that? This
would have been, it was Songs of Innocence and Experience, so it would have been probably 20... I think it was after COVID, so it must have been 21, 22, around then.
I know yeah.
Not sure. Anyway, so I went to see him, go in, and I love recording studios, right? You know, Pooch, you'll know the same. Yeah. And you walk in and there's a picture of Adele, she recorded her album there, Arctic Monkeys over here, you know, jukebox over there. And I'm going, this is amazing. And then, you know, walk in and there's the room not much bigger than this, full of guitars and drum kit. And Steve's like, you know, let me play you what we've got. And he started playing me some of the tracks. And, you know, the music business is such that when you hear it in a studio, it sounds amazing, right? And he's playing this song to me. I can't remember the name of it, but I was like, this is great. And I was smoking in those days. Actually, so that tells you when it was. It must have been, so it must have been before 2017, round about then. So I went upstairs to go and have a smoke. And as I was walking upstairs, the Edge came down the other way. And he had, you know, a bobble hat on, because that's all he wears. Cause
yes, he always does, doesn't he? Yeah,
doesn't have any hair.
And his goatee kind of.
And he was like, hi. I was like, hello. Went upstairs. Upstairs, go outside, start smoking. There's about 3 or 4 people there going, are you with the band? I'm like, not really.
You could
just they were sort of fans.
Auditioning, right? Auditioning maybe.
Anyway, so I come back downstairs after having the 2 cigarettes that I wanted to have. And as I come down to sort of where the studio was, I could see Steve and the Edge in there. And Steve's like this. So I go in and I sit in a room and there's a sofa and they've got, you know, the Edge has got an Apple laptop. And Steve says, play it to Mike. Play it. And it's a song called Landlady, which was on this particular album.
2014 it was released.
2014?
No.
Yeah, it was recorded between 2009 and 14.
No. So I don't think it was that long ago.
Like the Elizabethan.
Landlady? Really?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Crikey.
So
amazing. Anyway, I'd also been out with Steve, and Steve doesn't drink anymore because, like a lot of, you know, rock and roll people, he's done it, he's been there, he's done. And we were sitting in this, and you'll know the pub actually, the Slaughtered Lamb, in the West Village, right? And we're sitting in the West Village in this, and so he's having a fruit juice, I'm having a pint of beer, and his phone's going beep beep beep, and he's going, Christ, he's in Bono, bloody messaging me. He's such a wanker.
Do-goody.
And he's like, you know, we've managed to finish one song, and he's now messaging me to say he doesn't like it. You know, we signed it off last night. We signed it off. We're trying to do 12 songs for the album. The one song that we've done, he's now saying he doesn't like. And you kind of go, right. I mean, I'm sitting there going, what? And
pleased to be in the middle of it, really.
Yeah. I was just like, this is just
fun.
surreal, right?
Yeah.
So we go back anyway. So they call me in, and so the Edge sort of taps away on his laptop and starts playing the song. And I'm kind of sitting there going, this is so ridiculous. I can't even imagine. And I thought, I've got to record this somehow. You know.
Oh, wow.
Not because I want to play it to anybody, but I can't sit here because this is the only chance I'm ever going to get. And so I kind of somehow managed to surreptitiously put my phone on.
Oh, accidentally,
right?
Yes, we know those.
And start recording. And it's only, I've still got it. Can I play it, do you think? Probably not, right?
No.
I probably can't. And I only recorded about probably 15 seconds. And Landlady, and it was a Landlady. It's such a great song. Anyway, plays it. And then he goes, what do you think of that? And I went, it's great. You know, the Edge is asking me what I think of a song that he's written for U2, which is about to become a massive best-selling album. And it was just surreal. And then I came out, and Adam Clayton was there.
Adam, yeah.
And Steve was like, oh, Adam, hi, this is Mike Graham, wants to talk sport. And he goes, oh, I love talk sport. He said, I listen to it all the time.
That's lovely, isn't it, to get that?
And I went, right. And they had a whiteboard up on the side with all the track names, you know, and all that. And I was just going, this is the most ridiculous, crazy situation.
Find yourself in a position like that, it's incredible.
And then, of course, eventually, the management turned up, and these 2 women turned up who had, like, sort of, you know, clipboards. And they were looking at me, and I'd started talking to this other guy who was a session musician. And Steve had said, oh, you've got to talk to this guy. And I can't remember his name for the life of me. I wish I could, because he came out and Steve was like, hey, say his name's Harry, I can't remember his name, and he was American. He said, Harry, tell Mike some of the albums you played on. He said, oh, well, you know, I did Hotel California. Oh, really? Okay.
Wow.
Rumours. Well, you played on Fleetwood Mac, yeah. He said, yeah, I did a tour with Eric Clapton, you know. He called me. I'm going...
What the hell?
And Pooch, you know, who works for these guys, knows what it's like. I was literally blown away. This was literally, it was all in the space of about 2 hours, right? And eventually, he came out and he said to these two women, are you fucking going to pay me? They were like, this is not the time. And he's going, no, you fucking haven't paid me. I've been working for 3 weeks. You haven't fucking paid me. And they were going, yeah. And they were looking at me going, who's this fucking guy? And eventually,
a journalist.
eventually somebody came up and said, look, Bono's coming down, you better fuck off. And so I did, and I had to leave because Bono, you know, you can't speak with Bono because he's Bono.
No, save the planet.
And I just left, and I remember, and I rang the mother of my kids, who was a massive U2 fan, and I'm like, you're not going to believe what just happened.
That's impressive to me. I've been to see them live. They're amazing. Yeah.
And then we went and saw them live at the O2. And Steve Lillywhite got us tickets. We paid for them, by the way, you know.
I went to the old
Wembley. They were
Wembley.
like friends and family tickets, and it was just amazing.
They're
Such
incredible.
a great band.
Yeah. Rolling Stones I've seen at the old Wembley, U2 at the old Wembley.
Yeah.
But I don't think we need to ask you the question now, because I think you've done an amazing answer on that. But we'll save it.
Was there a question?
There was a couple of questions, but that's an amazing story, I think, with U2.
Yeah.
I think the next thing we're going to go on to here is a wine from Oliver's personal collection he's going to share with us today.
I can't believe I just started ranting like that. Sorry.
Aaron Ted in.
So, we are...
I'm like, we have to do it short this week. What am I doing?
Champagne Bollinger for you, dear sir, to celebrate 10 million.
Oh my God, is this the old one?
10 million.
Yeah. Oh
Grand
my God.
Annie 1997.
Look at it, Grand Annie.
So
oh my God, Pooch, you've got to come and get in this.
I'm having a bit of this.
You've got to get in this.
So quintessentially English because Bollinger is James Bond.
It is.
So for us, that's James Bond. It's Grand Cru, Premier Cru grapes. It is 10 years in Bollinger's chalky cellars, 60% Pinot Noir, 40% Chardonnay. Bollinger appears in 15 James Bond movie. Oliver's the expert on this.
Yeah,
I love the look of it already.
It's oldish, so it's going to be a bit. Look at that.
Ooh.
That sounds like my wallet opening.
Yeah, that's true. You've got to pay for the train fare back home, right?
Oh.
Mike, someone's put, do they know we're still here on the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we do. That's the whole point. It's
Congratulations,
like, you know,
Pooch, Charlotte, Mike.
oh my God, look at this.
10 million.
That's quite dark, isn't it? Oh my God. I've had a message from the mother of my children to say, I don't think Pooch should let you drink on air. I don't think Steve Lillywhite will be happy with you. I didn't say anything terrible, did I?
You said, no, you...
He said he thought Bono was annoying him. Right?
That's right, yeah, that's it.
Is that it? I mean, that's not bad, is it?
No, wow.
This is astonishing.
So we've got very much more kind of old pastry, apricot skin, peach style, probably a little bit savoury.
Apricot skin is kind of what I've got.
Yeah, apricot skin.
This is beautiful. Isn't that lovely?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Some facts from Oliver.
How much would a bottle like that cost?
It's £180 to £250 a bottle from champagnecollectors.com.
You're not getting this one.
No,
I'm taking that home.
I'll have two of the others then.
Yeah.
But that's just to say well done to you, sir, for all you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you
Wow.
for allowing us to be part of your show.
No, listen, you guys, not only are you part of it, you are it. You're not part of it.
And you got your stage show coming up soon as well, haven't you? Your
Yes, we
live
must
show.
remind. Actually, can you maybe stick up the old poster
Yeah, I'll find it.
at some point whenever you're
That's
editing
really,
this?
really
Charlotte's
good.
here.
Yeah, Charlotte's
May the 6th.
No.
Apparently, we sold a bunch more tickets overnight, so Donald's happy. Loads of people are coming. We're going to get Lewis MacLeod, who is one of the foremost impressionists that you've ever seen. Stephen Barrett, who I saw last night, by the way.
Yeah.
He was at the Do. We're probably going to get Anna to come along just to get pissed.
Describe to the camera how you think the show's going to run.
The live show.
Yes.
I think it's going to be, originally it was going to be a very different show. It was going to be, we were going to invent a whole new kind of format. But I think it's going to run like the Mike Graham show. So we're going to open up with a bunch of videos taking the piss out of Keir Starmer. if he's even still there, which I think everyone will love. We're going to have Lewis MacLeod coming in and doing impersonations of Donald Trump, doing Boris Johnson, probably Nigel Farage, who he does very well. We're going to have Stephen Barrett coming on to talk about all of the stuff that he finds fascinating and why he is, in fact, the foremost barrister, legal mind in the country. We're going to have the two Freds, right, said Fred, who are going to come on.
They're excellent, those two.
They are really good.
Excellent.
Intel Lady, I think, will be there as well. We've asked for her. Charlotte's going to be there.
Hey.
Well, like I said, I'm going to spend a lot of time bigging you guys up, and I wonder, and you may have a view on this, Pooch, whether we reveal you. Because of course I'll say, and I'll get Charlotte on the stage and go, here she is, the girl that puts it all together, and then I'll go, and here's Pooch. But of course, Pooch is also producing the show. So we might just have to have a spot on you.
It could be in the crowd. It could be in the audience.
Well, he will be. No, because he'll be halfway back because we know exactly.
Around him in the crowd.
Yeah.
It could be that.
So
yes,
we'll do that, and then also, I mean, I was thinking, and I haven't asked her, but I mean, maybe we'll get Carol Decker along.
Oh, Carol Decker's good. Yeah, she's good. She's
China
very
in my hand.
She's very with it.
Donald MacLeod will be knocking about, but we've got to be careful with that, obviously, because you know what he's like.
You could go mayhem.
And also, we've got Amanda Devlin coming from The Sun, who's a great, used to be a big fan of ours on Plank of the Week. So we'll get her involved. And also Emma Wolf, maybe. We're not sure yet, but maybe. I haven't asked her. So just a bunch of our favourite...
It's going to be absolute fun.
...commentators, and we'll just be sitting there chatting and enjoying ourselves. And it will be like a live version of this show.
But no...
We haven't asked Kelvin yet.
It's a unique thing that once... Yeah,
we don't know.
Boundaries,
We
just
might have
fun.
Kelvin, I don't know. You know, it might be past his bedtime. You know,
and there'll be some bubbles on the stage.
And then you guys are going to be there to provide the bubbles.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't know if you can find another bottle of Bollinger from,
Let's
1997.
see what can
this
happen.
Is incredible.
We're going
this is so good, isn't it? This is so good. I've got to take a picture of it, actually.
Well, you take it. Somebody would take it back. Oliver's got some facts of James Bond to close up.
Okay, let's have them. Go on then.
So, in Ian Fleming's books, James Bond drinks a total of 317 alcoholic drinks.
Wow, that's a good stat.
65 of them are champagne, 42 vodka martini.
Sake. Shaken, not stirred.
Correct, yeah.
Sake is 37, Bourbon 57, Cognac 24, Gin 21, and red wine 21 times.
Yeah.
The first time Bollinger appeared in a James Bond film was in Moonraker. And he had the vintage...
That's one of my least favourite Bond films.
That's the one with Jaws in, isn't it?
No.
No, is
no,
it not?
Moonraker, no. Moonraker's crap. It's the one in space.
Oh, it's that one with Roger Moore. Roger Moore.
Roger Moore and Jaws.
Yeah, I think Jaws is it.
Is it?
I think he is, and with that girl with the big plaits, that blonde girl with the big plaits.
I thought Jaws was he was on the one on the train, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he's in two.
Is that before Moonraker?
He's in two movies with James Bond.
I just thought Moonraker was crap.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I like Live and Let Die.
Mr. Gillespie sent us a super chat and said, Pooch is the new Kendo Nagasaki.
One for the teenagers.
Yeah. Do you remember, you probably don't, but in the 70s, one of the things that we did in the 70s was we watched World of Sport on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, 5
right?
o'clock.
I used to go, my Saturday was basically made up of, I would go to music lessons in the morning and I'd come home at about lunchtime, and our special treat was that my sister and I would be allowed to have spaghetti hoops and corned beef, right?
That's
because we weren't allowed to eat sort of crap food most of the week. My mother who wasn't a very good cook, would make us eat stew and sort of, soup and shit like that. And so we'd have a special, lunchtime Saturday. And then at about 3 o'clock, World of Sport with, was it Brian Moore?
Kent Walton,
yes.
Yeah, right, Brian Moore.
And then they would do they would have wrestling, with who Kendo Nagasaki was probably not at all Japanese, but he had a sort of outfit like a samurai, and he had a mask, right? And it would be what was his name? Mick McManus,
Yeah.
right? Giant Haystacks.
Big Daddy. Shirley Crabb, wasn't he? I think Big Daddy, Shirley Crabb.
And it was awful, but we just loved it. We knew it was awful.
Oh, that was one. But we used
and
to
you'd
love
watch it
that.
till 5 o'clock, and then you'd put on Final Score.
I remember that.
And you'd get all the football results coming in.
That was proper, a whole day. FA Cup final day used to be amazing.
In the evening, you'd go, right, here's the news, Morecambe and Wise, or
Bruce,
the Generation
maybe Bruce
Game
Forsyth or something.
Yeah, and then all the way through Match of the Day, Parkinson. Brilliant.
Sunday would be 2 Ronnies, and then you knew you had to go to bed for school the next day. That was beautiful. The London Weekend Television would come on Friday evening. LWT.
Where David Cameron started.
Was it? I didn't know that.
That's where he came from, No, London Weekend Television.
Yeah. Friday evening it would change over to that, but you'd have such good entertainment back then. I think that's all changed as well, but hey ho. But any more facts, Oliver? James Bond?
Bollinger pays about £10 million to feature in each film.
10 million?
Yeah.
Really?
But it works because if you think Champagne, you think Bollinger for...
Yeah.
Although they've had Dom Perignon, they've had Taschinier.
Well, I've said this to you before, haven't I? That, you know, he always asks for a Bollinger 66 or something like that, whatever it is. This is Bollinger 97.
97. So that's still 10, 20, 30, 29.
James Bond hasn't...
I feel like I should be going home now and getting to bed with Ursula Andress and going, do you fancy some Bollinger 97, darling? You know, sorry.
Well, that's great. If it makes you feel that way, that's wonderful.
It does.
And that's a
I
really
feel
good...
as though I should be lying naked somewhere.
To celebrate the 10 million views.
Well, not only that, but just
the
to celebrate the Bollinger.
That's the after 9 o'clock show.
Picture I could just go lie down on the... we've got... What do you call that thing?
It's like a sofa bed?
No, it's got another name. Nick Nat.
Challenge. Yeah,
click clack. Yeah, it's a click clack, right?
Click, okay.
So apparently you can fold it down and it doubles as a double bed.
Oh wow!
Luckily we're not that way inclined.
That's what Champagne does to you, everybody. That's what Champagne does.
Although we're sort of getting quite close.
I'd help out in a rush.
Well, Charlotte's here. I mean, sorry, that would be wrong. Anyway, listen.
Quintessentially English, sir.
Yes.
All done and dusted. Finalising with that last one to celebrate your success.
And listen, 10 million views, you've got to say, that is
incredible.
some achievement, particularly after just such a short period of time.
Yeah.
So thank you to Charlotte for that. Thank you to Pooch for being brilliant. Yeah. Thank you to you guys for helping us, right?
No, thank you.
And thank you to the audience. And all of you who have done so much for us and who are still watching in large numbers.
Yeah, they're amazing people.
Just incredible. And you know what? We're going to go from strength to strength. We've got so many great ideas. We're going to do so many good things. Big ideas. A new channel we're going to launch called UK Live. We're going to do a live show in May, but that'll be the first of many. We've got plans to do an alternative version of Question Time with a live audience as well. We're not going to tell you what's going to be called yet because we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Somebody else is going to nick it. We're going to do the BBC licence fee swap, where you're going to give up your licence fee and you're going to rip it up in front of us, and we're going to give you a Mike Graham licence fee for a lot less money, basically, for about, if it's £5 a month, that'll be, 60 quid, right? Which is less than half of what you're getting paid. It's almost a third of what you're paying for your BBC licence fee. We're going to give you a swap, we're going to give you a deal, and you're going to never go back. Why would you pay to watch the BBC? And all the crap that they put out. When you could pay us, we'll give you much more interesting entertainment. We don't employ paedophiles, right? And we don't allow Edward Hughes to message people and send pictures of his arse to young children.
You haven't got a paedophile statue outside either.
It's in the charter for us, right? And also, we won't employ people like Jimmy Savile, who likes, molesting dead people. So I think we're way ahead of the game, frankly. On that bombshell. Yeah, we do Pooch's Pooch here because we haven't done it. Yeah. Let's do Pooch's Pooch, which is fantastic. Have a look. Which one is this? Oh, this is great. Do you know somebody sent? I don't know if you saw it. Somebody sent Allegra on Substack a picture.
Yeah.
No,
Look at this.
He's painting the floor as well. It'd be amazing.
And dogs is like... and the dog...
It's a shaver.
The dog's just going, yeah. Great. Listen, brilliant. One of the reasons why we love what we do here is we do a dog video every day, and it makes us all feel so much better. Yesterday we were weeping because it was the one about the guy who had the service dog who had been working with him for so many years and solving crimes, retiring. Terrible, right? That one was just really funny, and we've got a great one coming up next week where. And if you want to do this, please do. On Substack, one of our viewers has sent in a little video of their new puppy because they've said that they lost their dog, which is always very sad, terrible thing. But they've got a new puppy, and they sent us a video of the new puppy jumping in and out of a basket, which is amazing, right? So, listen, we can't tell you how much we love this. We can't tell you how much we enjoy it. We can't tell you how much we're looking forward to it evolving and just improving. Sassy says on the super chat, I was one of Mike's first few hundred subs to his new channel. I'm really proud you're doing so well. Look how far you've come. We all had faith in you. You guys have done it for us, right? 10 million views, 140,000 subscribers. We're going to press on and get more and more and more. And Mike, as a rocker, epic, sing us out, please, says Sue. What do you want? What do you want me to do?
We will rock you or something.
I'm going to do Landlady, I suppose. Landlady. But I can't remember what the rest of the words are, so, I mean, that's not very good.
Hotel California?
I could do... I used to do... One of my karaoke songs was... what's his face? Don McLean, yeah. A long, long time ago, I can still remember... when the music used to make me smile. And I knew if I had my chance, I could make those people dance and maybe they'd be happy for a while. But February made me glisten with every paper I delivered. Bad news on the doorstep. I couldn't take one more step. I can't remember if I cried the day that I remember he died.
With a bride, but something touched me deep
But
inside.
something touched me deep inside the day the music died. And we were singing, bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this'll be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. I'm not going to do any more.
Really?
I'm not going to do the whole thing. Because,
That's
there we
excellent.
are. We'll do it at Shepherd's Bush. We'll do it at Shepherd's Bush. There we go.
You are an entertainer, sir.
Plonk of the week. Thank you very much indeed. We'll see you on... this is Saturday night, isn't it? So we'll see you on Monday at 7. And we'll try and give you something to be cheerful about between now and then. But I'll tell you what, I'm very cheerful about this Bollinger 97,
Bollinger.
which is bloody brilliant. Chris, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, sir.
Well done. Charlotte, well done. Pooch, well done.
Yes.
And we'll see you soon.
Remember, despite all of the others out there, it's always the others. Don't be a plank.